What is going on? What's going on, everybody? What's up, PJ? How you making?
What's up, Cam? I'm good. What's up, man?
Man, I can't call it. Let me see if we can get this other chat going over here. What you been up to today? How everything been going?
Man, it's been going pretty good. Just kind of going back through and fixing things that didn't quite come through on the reno. But other than that, just kind of chilling, hanging out.
Yep, that's kind of about where I'm at. Ain't a whole lot going on, we've been talking a little bit on the regular, so yeah, I got some had a couple little issues that was going on, but yeah, welcome everybody. We just honestly what today is we really just gonna kick back, chill, which is why we calling it the kickback session.
That's right.
So we just gonna kick back, chill, and not as many topics. Well, there is no topic really. Um, we're just gonna kick back and chill. We wanted to be able to reach out and then just kind of show y'all like some of the interactions that we normally have on a day-to-day basis. And right now, one of the topics I think that we're talking about is PJ has already seeded. You've got your seed and everything down. I've done all of my preparation. Y'all saw the video. Go check that video out if you haven't, and make sure you're getting prepared for your overseeding if you haven't already did it. And then I've already tossed my seed down, so tomorrow actually makes 2 weeks that my seed has been down. So yeah, man, I'm looking good today. It was like today just turned like
You are looking good.
everything just turned around like within a matter of like 3 days. I was a little nervous, but everything's turning around. It's looking the way that I expected it to be looking at this point. So
Yeah.
how about you? Before we get into me, how you looking over there?
So the back is coming in pretty good, but because there was some drowning out, like overwatering, that kind of
Yeah.
washed some of the seed away. So I had to reseed a little bit in the back. And like I told you guys, like my sod, oh my God, dude, that sod that was so beautiful. They got ate up by the sod, the army worms.
Yeah.
Oh, it's painful to see it. But so my little trick of doing, the overseeding and the pre-emergent. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna be able to do that on the side this year. I'm
Just
just
with the
gonna,
time, you don't have enough
yeah.
time.
No, I gotta put more seed over there because it's basically bald spots over there. So I gotta fix that though. So
Yeah.
that's gonna be the focus.
So I'm gonna just go ahead and acknowledge some people here in the chat. Um, I see got my boy Devon in here. What's going on, Brad? Like everything's good here. It was warm here too, which is why I dropped the video that I did, um, because I wanted to let y'all know exactly what I'm kind of dealing with. Uh, we didn't expect that it was gonna be this hot. Like I
Yep.
thought I was past, like, especially up here in Maryland, I thought I was past it. Like, I thought I was done with having to deal with heat. Nah, we were 90, almost 90 today. And it's supposed to
Yeah.
be like that for like the next 3 or 4 days. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that video that I dropped today, y'all, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. That was just a quick irrigation system that I rigged up because I had to. And I could see that I just wasn't getting the coverage that I needed in that area that I kind of pointed out. And it was one of those areas that was getting full sun. And even when the temps were cooler last week, I wasn't getting the germination that I was everywhere else. So when you bring in 90-degree temps, yeah, it was only going to go downhill if I didn't do something about it. So that's why I had to get out there and do that. Make sure your water is on point.
Oh yeah. That's real important, man. Can we let's talk. It looks like a question in there that the from M Branch. Talk a little bit
Okay.
about what's happening there. Because a lot of people, I'm seeing a lot of comments and things about people who are concerned that they're not seeing any germination yet.
M branch. Let's see if we can get that up there. Um, Let me see. I'm still nervous. I see it 2 weeks ago and it doesn't. Um. So 2 weeks is going to depend on what kind of seed. What seed did you go down with, Branch? So did you go down with? So we need to answer that one first.
Yep.
Did you go down with tall fescue, a rye, or a Kentucky bluegrass? Because that's going to determine your germination. So given rye's going to germinate first, and I'll look in the chat and see if you respond to that. And as I'm talking through it, so you're going to get germination first on rye. That rye is going to pop out the ground about a couple of days after you put it down. If your watering and stuff is on point and it's got enough moisture there, that rye will germinate within that first 4 or 5 days. It'll be up, no issues. The next ones that's going to germinate is going to be tall fescue, Jonathan Green, rye, sun, and shade mix.
That's tough.
Yeah, 2 weeks that rye should be up.
It should be
2 weeks that rye should be up. So the next thing that I'm gonna ask, if it was rye, was it how much rye was in there? Like what percentage of rye was in there? Because if it was something else, so a lot of shade mixes also have like chewing fescues, fine fescues, a lot of those in there, which could take a little bit longer, but you should be getting germination at least. And then it may not come in and just fill in thick. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to also depend on your watering, your light conditions, and what your soil temps and everything are. So one of the things that I was having trouble with is my full sun areas. It was still a little too hot for it. My full sun areas, they're dragging behind areas that are more shaded. And with that, it's just I got to keep that water on it. Like I got to keep pounding that water to it just to make sure that soil and that seed is staying moist. So the worst thing that you can do with seed is wet it and let it dry out. Wet it and let it dry out. Like that'll kill a seed and germination. So I'm not sure what your setup is looking like as far as your light conditions, how much sun is getting, how much shade it is in. So if you put down a shade mix and it's heavily shaded, it could take a little bit more time for it to germinate in that shade. So give it some time. If it hasn't come up, that rye really should have been up by now. 14 days on some rye. Normally you can just about be cutting rye in 14 days.
yeah.
So just kind of check on your watering. Make sure you're not over watering. You want to keep it moist, but just try not to over water it because that can be detrimental also. And I would say if by the 3-week mark, if you don't have like solid germination, you probably just need to reseed. Because I normally at my 3-week mark, that's when I'll come back and I'll touch up any areas that I don't see that are germinating well and filling in.
And that's basically what I did with my back, because it's been about 4 weeks now with that.
Yeah.
And I touched it up today actually.
Okay. Yeah. So that's normally I'll give it 3 weeks. I'll give it 3 weeks, especially if I'm doing and I mostly do tall fescue. So my tall fescue and stuff, like I'll give it 3 weeks. And areas that are still weak and I don't have like a nice little haze of new baby grass in those areas that are probably 3 weeks. Normally they're at least 2 inches tall, almost ready for that first cut. So make sure you give it that amount of time. If not, go ahead and reseed that area. All right. So let me see. I'm gonna jump in here.
So
Devon, you threw down. You did a full renovation on the front, huh? Okay. Okay. Hey, you took the big leap. I'm glad to see you doing that, man. I'm definitely glad to see you doing that. Um, I hope it turns out well for you. I like that GCI turf seed. I've ran it for a couple of years. Don't have I haven't had any complaints out of it at all. So I hope everything works out for you. I know it's hot down there, so just stay up on your water. That's all I can say for that one. So
Um, or Dwight's asking. I actually, Dwight, I don't think you should wait. This is probably the last of those 90-degree temperatures we're gonna see. So my opinion is don't wait. Go ahead and drop that seed.
yeah, I would if you're already this close, I agree with you, PJ. If you're this close, I would just go ahead and I'd go ahead and drop it. I'd maybe wait till Wednesday or Thursday. I'd actually do a Wednesday because we're supposed to get rain on Thursday. But I don't think it's supposed to be like washout rain. It's just supposed to be like we got some chances of rain and stuff. That's what I would do. I'd probably go down Wednesday if it were me. And I agree with you, PJ. I think this is the last of it. I'm praying
Yeah,
it's the last of it.
I'd
Like
be surprised if we get more 90-day temperatures after or 90-degree temperatures after this.
yeah, yeah. No, I think we're gonna be good. Um,
I'm sorry, I just saw what is it, 6 R's question.
oh, that's Greek. That's Greek.
That's who?
Greek is so the six is a
Oh,
G.
Greek. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I got you. Greek. Yeah, that question. No, we don't. I don't know. I don't know, man.
So I'm gonna address it head on. I don't know who it is. I did watch the video last week, and I'm gonna watch the
Uh-huh.
video tomorrow.
Yep. I'm gonna be right there tomorrow. That's what's happening. No clue who this is.
No clue who it is, but yeah. I don't really feel either way about it. I mean, people can make whatever they want to do on their channels. They can kind of if that's what they wanted. Yeah, that's right. PJ is the truth.
Yeah, don't even do it. That's
Yeah,
cool. Don't throw that out there.
nah, man. We have zero. We working has zero parts in that at all. We have zero parts in Turf Truth.
We
Um,
do. Like
none of it. But
we're on the sidelines just like you guys.
yep, sidelines watching. Hoping shots don't get fired at some point.
But it's a good formula though because those subs are going through the roof right now.
They went
They're gonna
from
pass me in no time.
they went from 30 to 500 in a week.
Yep. Yep.
In a week. Like it was oh yeah, they're gonna be monetized in no time. They're probably especially after this week or next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
So oh man, I appreciate that,
Thank you,
CR.
CR.
I appreciate that. I don't have all the little fancy sound effects like our boy Turf has got.
Okay, we lost you there for a minute.
We good? Nope.
Yeah, I got you. Got you now.
Okay. All right, cool. I was actually just trying to do something here in the background. So you've already dropped your seed. Did you aerate? What's the status on that?
So I did not. I did not aerate because I don't believe in aeration because only because I feel like the aeration truly did cause my poetry realis issue. But chatting with you guys a little bit, Turf was saying something recently about some of the issues that I'm having. I'm about to try some of the bio MP on my front because of
Okay.
the compaction issues. I think my front is really struggling with compaction issues. And I mean, it looks good. It's going to look great in the fall, but there are times that it struggles. And I think that's due to the compaction and the lack of microbes there in the lawn. So Turf said it best in our chat there that, as much as I hate to say this, I may think about aeration next year. I may think about it next year, but I really don't want to do it. I'm scared.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that it's anything to be scared of, but I will say I'm debating on not aerating next year. I'm debating it, just from the fact of it beat my 1-year-old turf up. I might shouldn't have aerated it as much as what I did. I'll be over it but my lawn went through a battle. It wasn't just the aeration. My lawn got beat up before that.
Right.
So I will let you. Oh, the white bee. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. But I will say that it got tortured even before I did aeration on it. So then coming behind all of that foot traffic and everything else that was going on, and then aerating and just weakening that root system a little bit more, I just think that's why it's taking so long for it to recover and like get back to where it's at. I don't think it's just one of those things that was like, Cam, if you just be patient, you'll be all right. Like it's going to recover. And I think it'll be all right. But I am gonna test. I think next year I'm gonna test the theory of not aerating. And another reason is if it fills in the way that I want it to, I don't think I'm gonna overseed next year either in my backyard. So I don't think I'm gonna do any overseeding as long as I make it through next year the way that I want it to. I'm gonna just feed it, fertilize it, cut it, let it ride.
So you're gonna forego the dethatching or power raking as well?
Yep. I'm gonna just let it ride.
I was thinking about that too, honestly, because I look around, I see my neighbors and I see what they do and what they don't do. And a lot of times they don't do all of this stuff. And each year, from year to year, everything looks good, So it's like, okay, well, let me see. I'm very curious of what it's gonna look like if I don't do any of this stuff that we typically do in the fall.
Yeah, I will say that I'm not a proponent. A lot of this stuff you don't have to do. Like the dethatching, you've even heard me say it. You don't have to do that. Like that's not something that you have to do. It's a nice to have if you need to. If you actually need to thin out your canopy for some reason, or if you want to get more seed and stuff down in there, if you've got a lot of debris and stuff in your yard, I say yes, you should do that to help clear it out. But it's not something that you have to do.
Let's see what else we got in here. And Greek. I like that. Greek geek. That's what it is. You're probably right, because the person that I hired for that aeration, you said that my POA probably came from not getting those plugs up. And that was my first year doing this, really. And the guy who did it, I don't think he got the plugs up. And I definitely didn't know to go out there and get the plugs up. So, I mean, it's highly possible. So I guess, and I'm not, let's get this straight right now. I'm not pushing the aerating machine out there on my lawn. I will be hiring somebody to do that part. And I'll just be like, hey, are you guys gonna get those plugs up or what? That's how
Yeah, PJ. I don't think it's worth it to try to, especially if you're cutting tall. I don't think it's worth it to try to get out there and get those plugs up.
Yeah.
It's not worth it to me. If you've got low cut turf, okay, maybe you'll probably have to do that. But if not, nah.
Well, just like, we were chatting about, our height of cut for the different seasons. And for going into fall, I cut my back at 2.5, and then the front stays at 3, pretty much. And that's how I go out in the season at those heights.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna be at 3 inches. I think I'm gonna do 3 inches all the way around. I think I'm gonna go to 3 inches all the way around going into the fall. And this past year I kept my backyard at 3 inches all season.
Yeah.
So I even think next year in the front, I'm gonna keep it at 3.5 in the front. I'm not going 4.25. I'm gonna go with a nice tight, clean. I think 3.5 is good enough because the lawn is mature. The front yard is like really mature. It's gonna get a good amount of sun, but I think it's mature enough that it'll handle being right at 3.5. And I'm gonna have my water on point. I'll keep it irrigated, and I think it'll be good.
I mean, we've seen lots of pictures of your lawn, and it looks good at that height. I like it. I've always liked it at 3, or well, the front. I like to cut the front at 3, and I was just doing like 4 for the summer. So I think it looks better. And then with this Kentucky bluegrass that I've integrated into it, I think it's going to look like in the fall when it comes in, man. I cannot wait. It's going to look nice.
Yeah, that Kentucky bluegrass. I don't think people realize like that Kentucky bluegrass, man. When it comes in and the color that it brings, that color out of Kentucky bluegrass is vicious, in a good way.
Yes. Yes. And that's what I'm going for because as soon as everything grows in, I'm gonna probably give it another probably 30 days before I pull that stripe kit out, man. That DIY stripe kit is coming out.
Oh, you say you're gonna give it 30 days?
I'm gonna give about 30 days. I'm gonna give about 30 days because like you guys are telling me that, and I'm just learning about Kentucky bluegrass, but you guys are saying that it takes a little bit longer to come in. So I want it to be nice. When I do that first stripe on it, I want it to be nice and thick.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to. It'll be a while before I strike. It'll be a while before I strike.
Really?
Yeah.
You think it's gonna so because of the Kentucky bluegrass or
No, I just think I don't think I'm gonna push it.
okay.
Like I think I'm gonna just ride it out, and I think once it comes in the way that I'm thinking it's gonna come in, it's gonna strike pretty good without the striper on it. And I want to roll, and y'all kind of saw some of my pictures towards the end of the year, like with the no strike kit. Like that was I haven't put the strike kit on since like the end of when we did the stripe challenge. And that was in the front yard. The backyard, I had it off even earlier than that. So yeah, man, it's one of those things that I was like, I ain't gonna push it. I'll probably stripe it come middle of October, maybe end of. I might stripe it for Halloween. So I see, let me say, got a couple questions in here. And Brand, would you try the liquid aeration? So liquid aeration to me, the way that I feel about it is, it's like a wetting agent. Like to me, it definitely doesn't replace mechanical aeration. They really, in my eyes, they do separate things. So I would go down with a product like that, but not expecting that it's replacing that mechanical aeration. All I'm doing is I'm using it as a wetting agent to try to help get some nutrients and maybe some moisture and stuff in the soil. But it's definitely not a replacement for that mechanical aeration.
Oh, it's not a replacement. I do think it's helpful if you stay on the regimen, and it just really depends. I was, my second year, I think I was using that liquid aeration every couple weeks. And I truly do think that it did help, with some absorption.
Yep.
So, but this year, since I started the business and everything, I've kind of been off of my program and I haven't stayed on top of it. So I've been doing maybe once a month. And if you're going to use this stuff, you have to use it properly. You have to use it per the recommendations
Yep.
on the label. And you can't judge it if you don't read the label and use it that way. You can't really place judgment on whether it works or not.
Right.
But that second year that I used it, I truly felt like it did help.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I mean, wetting agents are good, especially for compacted type soils. Like they help. I just don't want people to think that if you put down the liquid aeration, oh, that's a full replacement
right.
for doing mechanical aeration, and it's not. So we got a question from C. Webster. When should you topsoil? I mean, I think that's a very open question. So there's a lot of different factors that go into that. Honestly, you can bring in a lot of problems with topsoil. Like you can bring in weed seed and everything else with topsoil. You can incorporate a layer of topsoil in. I think the only time that I would really bring in topsoil if I knew I had a bare ground scenario where everything was just bare and I could try to incorporate that topsoil into that bare ground situation. But if I had an existing lawn already, I mean, I don't think I would worry about trying. What I would do is I would make sure that I've got a program that is going to allow me to build onto the soil that I already have, which is growing grass on it. Like the best thing that you can do to change your soil is to grow grass on it. Like that is the best thing that you can do. Get on your nutrition program, get it going, and grow grass on it. And those roots will start that cycle of improving your lawn. So only time I would do it is if I had highly compacted soil and I've done the soil test already and I already know what's going on, what's in it, and I needed to incorporate some soil in a bare ground type situation. That's it. All right. So scroll down. Hold on.
Ricky, yes, chat.
Before we do that, before we do that,
what's up?
There he is.
I gotta make sure I stay right in front of the camera since you got us portrait mode.
I'm over here trying to.
Okay, all right, cool. Now I can move around. I feel more comfortable.
Yeah. I give you a little elbow. Give you a little elbow room.
What's up, people? How y'all doing, man? I'm sorry I'm late. Fam. Sorry. Y'all know what I was doing. Y'all know.
Nah, man. You good. Hey, man, this is the kickback. You know people gonna show up late to the kickback anyway.
So what's going on? I see Greek the Geek is in the house.
He's got a super chat question.
Oh, he came in hot, didn't he?
Came in hot. Hey, look, I need to jump down to that with the super chat question. And that's how the big YouTubers do it. It was like, we got to address all super chat questions first, and then since we're talking about liquid aeration, I've got to ask, what are the benefits of humic acid? I mean, I feel like this is a Greek. I feel like this is a loaded question.
Yeah, it's a hot topic.
I feel like this is a loaded question on me, but I'm going to say there are some benefits to it. Do I believe that the benefits for turf grass are what they have been published to be or advertised to be? Maybe not. But I think if you're on a program, I think there are some benefits to having some humic into your turf program. But do you have to have it? I'm not going to say that it's something that you have to have in your program. That's my opinion. NPK will take you a long NPK will take you a long ways, because as you get to growing grass and you get to growing turf, you're going to get deeper roots. You're going to have more root cycling going on, and you're going to start to build a soil that's able to function on its own. So, are there benefits to it? Yeah, I think there are. Do you have to have it? No, I don't think so.
And if I can add to that, so when you look at the studies of humic acid, and the more and more I read about it, as a product, as a raw material, from the beginning, we didn't really understand what it was or what it was supposed to do. All we knew, and when I say we, I'm talking about the agricultural foundation as a whole, right? They noticed that certain soil types in certain regions had a very dark, rich color about it. And coincidentally, crops would do well in those soil profiles. So on some level, they thought that there was some type of connection to the soil's performance with the color, the texture, and pulling up that humic product through a process where they are actually able to extract this very dark looking materials. Now, there are studies that show that, in the right soil, in the right environment, under the right conditions, they have seen an increase of nutrient absorption and so on and so forth, increasing the humification process within your soil profile. But in other circumstances, it does nothing. It's no good. It's not any good, or it's not bad. It's just like an inert material. So this is why you always see me using soil hume from Simple Lawn Solutions, because the seaweed extract that they make sure that they put inside of that root hume, what they put inside of that product alongside the humic acid, it is consistently proven studies that show that seaweed helps with your root development. So whether or not it's good for you in your region, I don't know. They've been doing the research on it, and there's a lot of really good videos on there that really unpack that to a very deep level. But can I guarantee you that this is going to work wonders for your lawn? Absolutely not. So I would always look for a product that usually they're going to come hand in hand. I doubt that. I'm sure there is a product out there that's just straight pure seaweed, and it's probably very expensive. I would look for products that have seaweed and micronutrients alongside it. That's what I would look for. That's just me.
I mean, I think I'm not 100% sure, but I believe there's one that Simple Lawn Solutions has, the micro booster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got the micronutrients in there. I think it might have some humic in it. I don't know, because if that product has iron in it, it probably doesn't have humic in it. Because humic and iron don't play well together.
They do not play well together at all.
You'll lock up your iron. The iron will pretty much fall out of solution. You'll be spraying some sludge across your lawn. There's iron there, but it's bound. It binds to the humic itself, so it pretty much makes it an inert app for you. So if you're blending humic with iron and then going out there and applying it, you're essentially wasting your money. That I know. So, because I've seen it, I watched it happen. You do a little tank mix off to the side, take a test mix, and then you'll see it. It clumps up. It turns into sludge. And maybe you've accidentally experienced that while trying to make applications through a backpack sprayer or a hose-in sprayer, whatever it may be. So, yeah. Seaweed and kelp, those are more consistent studies that show that they really help with root development for sure. So I hope we got after that Greek geek. Hope we got after that. Did we talk about the simple lawn solutions already?
We have not. I was trying to find the best product that has the kelp in it, the seaweed and kelp, and it might be the soil hume.
Soil hume. Yeah, that's why you always see me rolling with soil hume. That's my jam. Right now, y'all know it's a 30% discount. It expires tonight.
So since Turf brought up simple lawn solutions, we're gonna go ahead and chop that in there. So the We Working team, we did have simple lawn solutions on last Saturday. If you have not checked that live out that we did, Brittany, the CEO of Simple Lawn Solutions, did come through. And it was a great live. I mean, she kind of gave us some history, some little background on that, and kind of talked about the product. So you can go back and check that out. We do have a discount code that will be live until midnight tonight. So make sure if you're trying to stock up, I mean, 30% off.
That's a great deal, guys.
Yeah, get out there and get it. So that is a amazing discount on that product. So while we're talking about that, you got your liquid. I know, I mean, some people like all liquid programs, but most people, you need something else. Like, you got to substitute with something else, some granular along the way. So what we're going to do, we're going to toss you another discount. So, we've got another discount. You can go ahead and put your whole program together for your fall or next year with the We Working team. So we do have another discount code, 10% off. That will be through October.
The end of October.
Yep, it'll be through October with Higher Bricks Fertilizer. So PJ and I, we did go live and talk about the Higher Bricks Fertilizer. I've been running it for 2 years now. I didn't use it in my personal lawn last year or this current year, but I do have some people that I recommended it to, and they've been running it. Amazing results, just like I had the first year. You can guarantee that I've pushed it 60 plus days, and it was still feeding, like no questions asked, still feeding. I think PJ has pushed it a little farther than that.
Yeah, I got to 70. I got to the 70-day mark. I was determined, really. I wanted to get to that 90-day mark, but I didn't calculate my my fall work properly, and so I got to 70 days, and I will 100% stand behind the fact that Higher Bricks was still feeding, man. It would have fed for 90 days with no problem.
Yeah. PJ was out there cutting like every 2 or 3 days in the middle of July.
She was doing it all through August.
In the middle of July, August, like all of it. And I mean, PJ's lawn, it was green. It wasn't stressed. It wasn't, I mean, it was legit still feeding 70 plus days into since the last application. So those are 2 discount codes that we've brought for you. And hey, go check them out. Do you some research on those products, and if they interest you, give them a try.
So Cam, I think American Troy. That's a fair question, because you've used protein and
I'm gonna jump back over.
Right. Let me so if you get that, Cam, I do want to jump back up to Lynette Lewis and Kathleen Sneed.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we missed 2 questions.
Whichever one you want to hit first, but I see 2 sitting in front of me. I really want to get after the Lynette Lewis. So let's
do it. I'm gonna go. Let me get to it.
Lynette Lewis. She says, she said also. So maybe
Was that the same?
Yeah, she started with the Sunjoe. She got
she said I got. Let me go back to the top. So I bought a Sunjoe with Scarifier to fix my lawn. Had a mowing service cut my lawn for a month, and I was temporarily unable to. Because she was as I was temporarily unable. They cut it too low. Sun blazing, high temps. My stripes are gone. 6A. Okay, so you're okay. All right, cool. 6A. You're somewhere up north, probably in New Jersey.
I think she's in Jersey. I think she asked some questions. I think she's in Jersey.
Yeah, I think she's
Delaware. Jersey or Delaware.
Right. And then she said, I put down some lawn treatment with 2% iron, Scott step number 3, a little greener, but I haven't done anything else. The last cut was last week, so not enough time has passed yet. I'm not sure what you mean about not enough time has passed, but if your grass has grown a third of its height from the last cut, time to cut it. Unless you're trying to bring the height of cut back up. And that's what you mean by that. And then you said also, my subdivision has lots of spiders in the grass this time of year. Can I use 7 Dust on it to kill them? I want a bottle of Simple Lawn Solutions from y'all. Use now or later in spring. So that's a lot to unpack. I feel like I got after the first portion of your question. I feel like I got, you know what the issue is. You know that they were cutting it too low. Your grass was not prepared to deal with that. It probably went into shock because it wasn't ready to deal with such a massive chop off, and it kind of probably just stunted it and stalled it out until the weather cooled off most recently. And then you fast forward and you put down some lawn treatment with the Scott's 2% iron in there, gives you a little bit of color. You're right. You're thinking that you don't have enough time to cut it again. I'm assuming that you're trying to raise your high to cut. Hey, Grace Ortiz, I see you. And then now you want to kill the spiders. I would ask you this. Why are we trying to kill the spiders? The spiders are your friends. Unless it's brown recluse or something that you know is poisonous, I would not try to kill the spiders. Leave them alone. Especially 7 Dust is labeled for gardens, I believe, not your turf. I don't think it's labeled for turf. So I have no idea what 7 Dust would do to turf. Yeah, so I just wouldn't do that, mainly because spiders, they're helping you. They're getting after some stuff. They're eating bugs that want to eat your food. Because Lynette, I'm pretty sure you're a gardener as well.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. And to be honest, no shame on you for doing it, but I really wouldn't be using 7 Dust in my garden either. There's better options than that. And if you email me, we can chat about it, and hopefully I can give you some better options. Nope, not knocking you. If that's your choice, that's what you want to roll with, it works with you and you're happy with it. But I would tell you, let's let the spiders live. They serve a purpose. You know, mosquitoes, those low-hanging fruits, they can even be eating up some of these daggone army worms is out here wrecking people's lawns. So,
spiders and lizards, them two things that I don't get rid of no lizards.
Yeah, leave them alone. And then I don't know what you want from Simple Lawn Solutions. So I do remember you winning, but if you could tell us what you won, maybe we can help you out as far as telling you when to use it. But yeah, as long as they're not in my house, I leave the spiders alone. You know, if they don't come in my house or in the garage, I leave them be because they're not really hurting me.
She said spiders are reckless in my subdivision.
that means they're in your house.
It's like those army worms were reckless in my subdivision.
Yeah, if they made themselves into your house, I would treat your perimeter around your house, the entryways, before I went spraying the yard, because they won't break that barrier of your perimeter. And then Kathleen's got a question just for you, Cam.
I was going to jump right on that one. So it's funny when you bring up leveling. I have done this one time in my life. And I think, and I will, everybody here on the screen knows, I will never be doing any other leveling to a lawn. I know they say don't never say never, but I will never be leveling another lawn unless I've got some motorized equipment. I will not be doing it. So to answer your question, I actually went down with like a topsoil when I did do the leveling in my backyard. It was a topsoil that I got from a local distribution area here. So I did go with a topsoil. The only thing is that if you start going with sand, normally like sand is like if you're dealing with like a low cut turf, like you want to do like if you're warm season or if you're going to cut like really low, then I think sand will be your friend. The thing with topsoil is it's going to settle. Like you're going to get some settling that's going to happen over time. So get out there, do that. I say work with what you got if you can, without having to bring a lot of soil in. If you've just got a couple of areas here and there that you just want to fix, I would kind of cut them down lower, and then you can kind of feel and do like some little spot areas. So no ratio for you on the on the sand to topsoil. Soil Alive. I've used Soil Alive. I did use it last year. I only used it once, so I can't really comment on results from that one. I did use it once, and it was in combination with some other stuff. So, given the results on their other products and how their other fertilizers perform, I wouldn't doubt that it was. And that Soil Alive is like a pretty balanced analysis also. So I wouldn't doubt it. Depends on what your soil test says that you need. And that's what I would look at. Why? Make sure you know why you're using that product.
Yeah, I'll say I've done leveling. That's where it all started for me. A small section in my backyard needed to be leveled. And I did an 80-20 ratio, 80% topsoil to 20% sand in that area. There was two reasons why I did it. One, because I knew that it was it would find its true level on its own. So I purposely mounted it a little high, knowing that it was going to settle. And then two, I recently had a soil test that showed me that my CEC was extremely high. So I had a really high CEC. So my thought, I don't know if I'm right for it. I can tell you the lawn looks great. But my thought process was a little sand wouldn't hurt to increase the porosity of that section that seemed to be a super dense clay in that area. So that's why I introduced sand into that mix. And it was very little, and the yard loves me for it, as far as what I can see. PJ, do you have any? I don't think you've leveled anything, PJ, have you?
No.
Yeah,
no. Kathleen actually asked me. She's a member of the Sisterhood of the Lawn. She asked me about that, and I was like, I can't help you with that. With that leveling, because I considered it. I considered hiring somebody to do it, but that quote they gave me, I was like, nah.
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll be 100%. If I'm not real mowing or cutting like really low,
you'd be
sub
half inch.
Sub an inch. I will give it an inch. You might need it at it. You might need it at an inch.
You would probably see the dips a lot harsher at an inch.
Yeah. So anything sub, I'd say inch and a half, 2 inches, inch and a half. If I'm not going anything lower than that, 2 inches, you ain't gonna see it.
I agree.
At 2 inches, if you're cutting any turf at 2 inches, unless it's a major dip.
Yeah,
like
you're
if
not
you're
gonna
just
see it, but you're gonna feel it when you're mowing. Yeah.
For that amount of work that you got to put in to get it level, y'all can have it. I will buck my way along on that joker and be good. Hey, we gonna just have to hit the backhand bounce on it and just be good with it. Like I'm over leveling.
Yeah, I just play it off. I got my music pumping. I'm like, yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
And the thing is that you'll figure out, like, the more you cut your lawn, you'll know where those big bumps and stuff are. I mean, if it's like major, okay, maybe I'll fix some stuff here and there. But like these little undulations and little bumps and stuff through there, man, if I'm cutting 3-inch tall fescue, I ain't worried about that. All right,
And
so Polo, appreciate.
Kathleen followed up with, how long does it take to settle? I see you said 4 to 6 months, and that's the thing when you go into leveling, it's just that settlement stage. You just never know if it's enough.
Right, and now keep in mind, I'm sure my climate in the backyard and the time of year I did it had a lot to do with it, and the fact that it was organic material mixed with sand. It wasn't just pure sand leveling. So, because from what I've seen people do sand leveling, and within a month, everything is where it's supposed to be. So when I say settle, meaning when everything stopped shifting around. I mean, even at the surface, because to be honest, I thought I had messed up for about 2 months because the ground was so tender in that area because the sand hadn't settled yet. So I had to be really careful when I mowed that area when I turned around, because at one point I was turning around and grass was just ripping up.
Yeah.
And I was almost regretting what I did until I came until about June of that year and everything had settled out. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, cool, we're good. I made a good choice. So yeah, I guess you can get after American Troy's question now, Kim. I already know the answer to it. I just want to see you answer.
Yeah, I want to see that.
All right, so before we do that, before I answer, get after whatever that question is. I think I saw it. I can't find it, but I'm gonna go ahead and bring somebody else in here.
Boom, bam,
I'm gonna go ahead and bring somebody else in here. The hardest working man that I know without a job. Right there. The hardest man I know. What's going on, bro? How you making?
Let me tell y'all something. I got 5 minutes before I gotta go to my next job. Man, I am whooped right about now. I'm supposed to be sitting down enjoying the Baltimore Ravens play the Raiders. I got caught up, end up doing my lawn, end up spraying in the friggin' dark. Man, I gotta go get my little ones, man. But man, I've been watching y'all, man. I've been watching y'all.
Did you feed it or did you just treat it?
I ain't telling you what I did.
See, I even kept that incognito. And that's why I was like, did you feed it or did you treat it?
I sprayed it with some water.
You put some water on it. Okay. All right.
Grace got jokes for you, Polo. She said, did you pay the internet bill? you caught that turf dollar virus, Nestle.
Hey, I'll tell you, man, whenever I'm next to right here, whenever I'm next to this man right here, my internet messes up, it goes slow, it buffs. I don't know what the business is, man. I don't know, y'all. Let me tell y'all something though, man. I mean, last week and this week has really been rough, man. It's been really rough. It's been busy. Been out here hitting it hard, doing renovations, having freaking equipment failures, and battling this heat, this 90-degree heat that just came from out of nowhere. That's gonna be here majority of the week. So, you know, dialing in water, making sure that we get to keep the seed wet. Man, it's been rough. It's been rough doing that, and then on top of just regular lawn services, bruh, Todd, man. Bruh.
Hey, man. We call you TOG for a reason.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, and they don't know what that means, but you know, it's all good.
No, and we're gonna leave it at that. That's all. We're gonna leave it at that.
It's all good. So, man, y'all been answering questions. Y'all been, man, what happened to the music though, dog? What happened to the, you know what I'm saying?
So I had it, I was trying to get it set up in the background and I was having some technical difficulties and it wasn't working out right.
Right. And you know what I learned about the music today during my live? I think music is best when you're solo dolo. I think when you have multiple people and multiple things moving around, I think it's a little distracting because they already got to keep up with the multiple conversations happening. I don't know. I could be wrong. We'll soundboard it, of course. And I always count on PJ to give our authentic, transparent feedback, no matter how much it hurts your feelings. But I think music in the background when there's multiple guests is probably not needed. It's just my take. I don't know. We'll ask the audience. How about that?
You know what? You know, let me answer that question.
Okay.
Well, we can't ask the musician about music.
Let me answer that
question. You got a biased opinion.
There's gonna be music being played, whether you like it or not. There's gonna be music being played. It's settled music. You ain't got to pay attention to it. It just kind of sets the mood. That's what we are, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to get with that. You know what I'm saying? So y'all need to get with that, man. Y'all need to get with that.
You heard the music and got distracted.
That just right there just lets you know, man, that we're different, we're unique. Go ahead, Cam. Go ahead.
There's no one like us, no other like us.
All right, so that wasn't like, you can go ahead, Polo. I'm working on it in the background, so just keep going.
No, but we're different, we're unique. We all love music. Everybody loves music. So why not have something soft in the background? You know, have your as Turf says, your libations, you know, everything, whatever you're gonna have, whatever. It's the kickback. We kicking back, y'all. We kicking back, relaxing. You didn't work your 9 to 5. You're chilling, whether you're watching the game or you're watching us. Let's chill. Let's chill. This is the kickback, baby. Hey. Let's chill.
Hey, you see Polo and Turf done came in here late, so they right on time with it being a kickback.
Hey, let's chill with it. Come on,
I like it.
Come on, y'all.
Where's your candle? That's the move.
So can y'all hear that?
Hold on.
Yeah, I can hear it loud and clear.
Yeah, we can hear it. Can our audience hear it?
Is it too loud?
No.
Let me see.
Because I'm gonna be honest, I can't hear it.
You can't hear any of it? Yeah,
I hear y'all talking, but I don't hear the music.
Because Eco said
I can hear the music.
Oh yeah, they can hear in branch in there dancing.
Hey, I got my candle lit.
Hey, Turf. When Polo lit that candle the other night, boy, that just was hilarious.
And hey, Cam, can you run a poll? To see if they like it? Like if it's distracting or not, or you know what I mean? Can you run a poll? Are you able to do that?
It's not distracting at all. We're gonna have a ball.
So this is funny because I can't hear the music like at all. Like I don't know.
Can hear it, but you.
I don't know how loud it is. I don't know where. So the only thing that I'm doing is I have it set to where I had it when me, you, and Q.
Yeah, I was about to say. Grace says, "Yes, I hear it. Just turn it down a bit." Because right now I feel like I have to yell over it. Music is a little loud and a little distracting when you're explaining detail. So that's good to know. So maybe we have it in the background. That's a great. I like that level right there. And
right there.
When we start to unpack something, we just pause the music.
I can hit and I can just go over and be like, whoop. Straight pause. That's the pause, and then I can bring it back in.
I like it. I think that's where maybe you might can tap it up just a nudge, but I like it. Thank you for the feedback in the chat. Thank you, helping us dial this in. We're just trying new ways,
like Eco said, it's a good distraction.
It's a good distraction. Okay, I like it. It looked like 5 people got upset because they bounced. I was like, nah, I don't know what y'all doing.
You know what? Hey, man, look, we gonna be us.
That's right.
Candle out.
We eventually get back on track. It's all good.
We get back on track.
I mean, but the thing is this is the kickback, and we're gonna keep going back to that. This is not our structured live of like we just gonna be delivering information and all of this. As you see, we're gonna give y'all some information. We're gonna address the questions and stuff that's in the chat. But when you come to a kickback, it ain't no program. It ain't no schedule. It ain't no agendas. So we just gonna kick back. We gonna chill, and then y'all can just kind of see our interactions. We get to interact with y'all in the audience. If y'all got questions, y'all bring them to us. When y'all don't have questions, we'll jump on another topic that we want to talk about. But since y'all wanted me to get after a question, I can't find it, but I know what it was. And the question was higher bricks or protein. So I rock with my man Pete down at GCI Turf Services. He did introduce me, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people, to the higher bricks. He's been using it for years. I've been using it for 2 years solid, and I've seen it with my own eyes. So I did use the protein this year in my backyard. So I have a full comparison. What I will say, I think both of them are quality fertilizers. Hands down, I think both of them are quality. But they perform differently. So you can get the protein in a homogeneous prill, which is not the higher bricks. Higher bricks is not a homogeneous prill. And you also get, with the protein, you get a smaller SGN. So it's a smaller prill size. So that stuff spreads, I think it might be a 180. I think it's a 180 SGN. So it spreads even. It's about, if you've ever used ProPeat, it's about the size of ProPeat.
I'm about to say that's a little bit, that's a right above the threshold before it becomes greens grade.
Greens grade. It's
right.
just above a greens grade. So it spreads good. What I will say is that it feeds slow. It is definitely a slow feed. You're not going to go out there and see results, even with watering and rain, in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's going to take it a solid 3 to 4 weeks for it to really start coming in, and you really starting to seeing it acting. Which EJ's over there shaking her head
I'm
because
not patient enough for 3
because we know Trigger over there ain't got that kind of patience. But it definitely does. It definitely takes a while for it to kick in, but it feeds for a longer period of time. I did not get flushes of growth with that protein. It just fed consistent all year. It felt like I was cutting the same amount of grass off every time I cut the grass, the whole season in my backyard. When it comes to higher bricks, I think you're going to get both. You're going to get a quicker response, a nice green up, and a long feed. You can't complain about that.
Nah.
Can't complain about that at all.
No.
So, to me, I'm going down with I will answer that by saying I'm going down with higher bricks all next season as my granular.
And that's my plan too. I put it down with my initial seed drop, and I'm looking at my lawn now, starting yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, it's kicking in.
And for what it's worth, if I was not going to Germany, I would probably be running. No, I would be running higher bricks as well. But I'm gonna go see what Germany talking about. They might have a higher bricks improved. You know that German engineer.
Higher bricks 2.0.
He said higher bricks improved. So yeah, we got I'm gonna get the tunes back going. Y'all see any more questions that we need to get after?
Yeah.
Greek just dropped a good one. Chemically, what makes each one quality fert? What is the formulation? I like that. You gonna get out there first? I got some sauce for it, but you know.
I'll let y'all go ahead. I'm gonna work in the background real quick, and then I'll jump in.
Okay, so one thing that I like to see is what are the raw materials, right? And that can be something as simple as your potash raw material. Are you using muriate of potash, or are you using sulfate of potash? So those are the type of things. Are you using the highest quality raw materials possible for your NPK sources, or are you using the cheapest, most readily available products? Now, that's not knocking any quality product that might be out there that still gets the job done, that is using a cheaper raw material. But for me to say this is a high quality product, blah, 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 that means down to their raw materials, they're using the best stuff that they can get their hands on. And there's a few companies that fall in that range for me that never really skirt the raw materials cost. They make sure they get the best thing they can get their hands on. And with that, those products tend to be a little bit more expensive, but I understand why. So it doesn't scare me when I see that price tag, especially when I can get a 4-month feed off of it, a 3-month feed off of it, and a reliable feed. So those are some of the things that I'm looking for, some of the factors that I'm looking for as a consumer before I say to you, this is a high quality fertilizer. Or you'll just hear me say, yeah, it's a pretty decent fertilizer. It's all about the words. That's what I got on it. Polo.
I got to bounce.
I know y'all got
I got to bounce.
I went to you next because I figured you was about to bounce. Maybe you can bless us with a little bit of something before you roll out, man.
I just was sending you all a message because I just got a text message and I do got to bounce.
All right.
Okay, bro.
All right, hold it down, bro.
All right, man. I'll holler at y'all, man.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll get after that one a little bit. So one of the things that I was looking at, I'm with Turf on the raw ingredients. Another thing that I also look at is what forms of nitrogen am I getting, and what forms of potash, for one, is one of the things that I'm looking at. Like, so for your potassium sources, MOP, SOP. Am I getting nitrogen? Am I getting ammoniacal nitrogen? I'm getting the AMS, or am I getting like a whole bunch of urea? Which one is it? Like, those makeups of that nitrogen source is another thing that's important to me. And also, if I can get some additional nutrients or something additional in that bag on top of my NPK. So what you get out of the higher bricks is it definitely has a pretty decent micronutrient package. So for me, I'm deficient in sulfur. It is a fertilizer that is pretty high in sulfur, which is another good thing to be putting in your programs. So if you look at the micronutrient package, that's another thing that I'm looking at in that higher bricks fertilizer, is that you get a decent micronutrient package to go along with your good NPK sources that are in that fertilizer. So that's what I'm looking at. And on top of that, price and feed. Feed duration, that goes into the value of it, not necessarily, in my eyes, not necessarily the quality of the fertilizer, but it goes into the value of the fertilizer.
Yeah. And then Green the Greek, he says also 180 SGN is huge for him. He's looking for 70-90 for SGN max. So when it comes to greens grade, I'm pretty sure that ratio is somewhere between 80 to 100, or maybe it even extends as far as like a 70 to a 110 or something like that. But I think there's a jump. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's a jump. Like, I don't think you're going to find things at like the 150 mark, which is why I stated 180 might be the cap before it drops down. I could be wrong. I haven't dealt with a lot of greens grade materials, but that was just to say it's not a super huge prill. And you got to remember, we're doing with cool season lawns, and none of us are real mowing.
Yeah.
But 70-90, that sounds about right as far as the SGN max. And then chemically, what makes no, you had another one. Do you guys consider and compare the ingredients at all? Yeah. I mean, I kind of just talked about comparing those ingredients as far as raw materials. So I love your questions, Greek. Keep them rolling. PJ, did you have anything to add to the chemical? Like, what do you consider a quality fert? I probably assume it has to do with performance, what you see with your eye.
Yeah, mine is more based on performance, because I've had a few soil tests now. I'm waiting on one right now to come back from Virginia Tech to dial it in a little bit with, you guys we're gonna talk about it a little bit. But next year my plan is really to only give my lawn what it needs. But this year it's just been about, okay, I put this down, I tried this, and I just look at the response from the lawn, and that's what I've been judging it on. So I can't speak to it technically like you guys do, but visually, that Hybrix is
Right,
it for me.
right. PJ's analysis was as deep as, and there's nothing wrong with it. I put this stuff out. It said it was going to feed for this amount of time. I've been
Yep.
cutting my grass every 3 days. It looks amazing. This is quality first. And there's
Yep, I like it.
there's nothing wrong with it, but it's good to know where people's perspective is and what they consider. I mean, that was a beautiful question, Greek, to get.
Yep.
Thank you on that.
Yep. Yeah, and I appreciate you bringing it up. So, I mean, being that we were saying that it was a quality fert in our eyes, we all have, even Turf and I are pretty close, but we've got different perspectives on what makes a quality fert for us. And that may not be a quality fert for you. Like you may not think that that's a quality fert
because of the GN alone.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Those drills aren't small enough when it comes to that millimeter diameter. Then it's a waste for you, and that's understandable in those circumstances for sure.
Yep, and then I think so. I think a lot of times, like when people ask your opinion, and like I think that was a really good question because we were able to put some substance behind why we thought that, and I just want to bring it up that a lot of people we don't get into that granular amount of detail of understanding what's a criteria for me to call it a quality fert.
Right.
Yeah. For me, I don't need a greens grade.
Yeah.
For Greek, he needs a greens grade.
Because I'm curious. Let me look it up. I want to know.
So for him, that would be a major change in what's quality and what's not. So I always say, I mean, there's more than one way to do this lawn care thing. There's definitely more than one way to do it. And I think the criteria, there's some that are pretty standard across the board, but I do think that there's a little room for interpretation of what works in your scenario and what do you really need via your soil tests, via your applications, via your cut height, like all of that. Like you've got different criteria than maybe the next person that you're getting an opinion from. So that was a really good question. I appreciate
that. I dropped it in the chat if you want to bring it up. I find it interesting. You can just scroll down. I found that really quick, by the way. But if you scroll down to, it's like midway down through the page. If you want to share your screen, it's got greens grade at anywhere from 80 to 150, and then the 200s up is usually used for off rough.
I just stopped sharing, so you can share if you want.
You've been sharing. Oh, okay. Let me see. Can I do that? Let me see.
It should be at the bottom, right?
Yeah, I gotta hold on. I'm not seeing.
Oh, you put it in the private chat. All right, I got it. I got it now.
Yeah, because it's acting funky for me as far as it's
all right.
It's not pulling up that tab.
I got it. Don't worry about it.
Okay, but yeah, Greek, you done sent this to work. So this is information, though, guys. And for those who don't know what SGN is, it's just the prill size. SGN. What does SGN stand for? Size guide number. The average particle diameter of the granulars in millimeters multiplied by 100. So you got your 8.
Right. So 80 to 100 is typically used on golf greens.
Yep.
And then 125 to 150 tees in the fairways, and then 200 plus landscapes and roughs and all of that. So this is typically where you kind of start to get into your home lawn type applications.
Right.
Unless you're real mowing.
But shoot, it even says right here, 125 through 150, you can still do low cuts. I don't know what low cut means in their definition, but when you're talking about the golf tees and fairways, where fairways generally maintained, I don't know. I don't golf enough anymore to even know. I would like to think they're probably an inch or sub-inch. Maybe, yeah. Does any golfers in the building that know the answer to that question real quick? But I think that's cool. That was good to know information.
Yeah. So yeah, we definitely unpacked that one.
So and then you got the so Hybrix is at 180. So it's better. It's better than most of your 200s and the plus for homeowner DIY.
I'm gonna say that's an estimation. I think it might be. Honestly, I think it might. So no, protein is a 180.
Okay.
Protein is a 180.
I mean, I had some. No, I didn't have any Hybrix. I had Pro Pete. I like Pro Pete.
Pro Pete is small. Pro Pete is Pro Pete is probably a 180. It's probably a 180, maybe a little bit bigger than. It's maybe a 180.
I think it probably depends on what analysis you pick up as well. But I had that Pro Pete 1111. Is that what it was?
Yeah, you had the 1111.
I had the 1111, and I liked it, especially during the summer. PJ hated it. I loved it.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
It just goes to show you, different soil profiles.
PJ, you went down with a 7. You went down with the 7 something, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the stress blend, basically.
Right. So,
but I mean, I've done like to me. So the phosphorus was high. I don't remember the analysis, but it was like I feel like it was like 714 something maybe. But I had that 818, and the 818 performed so much better for me than that Pro Pete.
So like 818.
I mean, you gonna bring 818 into the car. Come on now, like you can't do that. You know that's not a fair fight.
I know.
You know that's not a fair fight.
I missed me some 818 fairway at 3/4 of an inch. Okay, yeah, cool. So that's good to know, right? So you're still good with that SGN around that mark. But I like the Pro Pete. This is why I like the Pro Pete. You're not going to get a quick, fast reaction pop out of it, at least with the 1111. But what it did was it sustained. I was going out at rates sub a quarter pound per thousand. So I was going out somewhere around 1.19 pounds per thousand square feet. And I was able to do that with my Scott spreader. No fancy spreader, just a Scott spreader. And it spread well. It spread evenly. And that in the combination of supplementing with simple lawn solution liquids, I was able to maintain an honorable green throughout the entire season. And I know that you guys didn't see my lawn too much during the summer, but you had the whole front end of the season, and then Cam, PJ, and Polo, they had you for the rest of the wave because I'm big into gardening as well. But we had a good time. Polo, where you at? Probably still crying over his Cowboy loss. Ooh, Aiden coming in with the stinks. Aiden coming in talking trash. You heard that, PJ?
I responded. I responded.
I like that, Aiden. I like it.
Yeah, Aiden, you need to go somewhere with that, man. Well, I mean, we don't need that negativity in this live cast right now.
I like that, Aiden. I like the way you came in. Just kick the door in.
That was a good game. They did good compared to last year. They did good.
Come on, man. Whoever is happy about losing.
Compared to
last year, I'm not happy about it.
I'm not happy about it. I'm not going to beat them up.
They did good.
How you look good losing?
Hey,
Get out of here, man.
They were playing against GOAT, so
and you lost, and you look bad. There's no other. There's no looking good in losing. There's no looking good in losing.
He said, "I'm bringing in the positivity." What positivity?
No, Aiden, go cut some lawns or something. Get out of here. You can borrow my ego with the lights on it.
All right, man. All right, I'm gonna scroll back up and see did we miss any questions. Anybody got any?
I think Grace had a
Oh,
question.
and Greek, did we acknowledge his super chat, by the way? Like, appreciate you, man.
Yes, thank you, Greek.
Thank you, Greek. He said, I really dig the chemistry for sure. Thank you for your patience
Yeah.
with questions. I greatly appreciate all of your answers, man.
Definitely appreciate that too. Appreciate the support.
I like questions that mentally stimulate me.
Yes, and I mean, and that took us down a good path.
Yeah.
And I think it highlighted some things that we don't always talk about in behind the scenes.
Yeah. Absolutely, because I didn't even think it. Like, you sent me down the rabbit hole, and I learned something from you, provoking thought tonight. But you did miss Grace's questions. Grace had a question. PJ just re-highlighted it. Thanks, yeah. PJ. I'm gonna be right back. I gotta take care of something.
I think she directly asked you, Cam, about top. Did you do any top dressing?
No, I did not. I did not do anything with that, Grace. I'm not a fan of it. I'll be honest with you. Excuse me. Unless I really have a need, especially if I've got an existing lawn. I'm not a fan of top dressing. I'm not a fan of for high cut type turf. I mean, I think if I was doing low cut turf, maybe I would. But in my scenario, and I think your scenario, we're sitting here with plus 3-inch tall fescue. Like I'm not a fan of top dressing things. What I'm really a fan of is making sure I'm dialing in my nutrition program. So I'm making sure that I'm getting my NPK right. I'm getting enough stuff down that I'm really getting the turf itself to grow and be healthy. So that is my plan. That is my approach. Making sure I'm dialing in the nutrition and then making sure that is over time going to build that soil composition and that soil that is going to help grow and sustain that turf. Like I'm not really a fan of top dressing myself. And if you're specifically talking possibly peat moss, not in my wheelhouse. Bare ground situations, I think there's some benefit to it. And if you've got bare ground that you're seeding, I think it's a little possibly an insurance blanket, a little extra insurance. But I've done a lot of bare ground seeding without it, and they have turned out amazing. So it's kind of where I stand on it as far, especially with overseeding. Definitely don't think it's necessary that you have to do it.
I didn't. So last year I used a lot of peat moss. Well, last year I had to deal with digging up that POA, that big area. So it was basically bare. So I did use a lot of peat moss last year. This year, I only put it on the bare spots in the backyard that I had to repair from the dog urine, but I didn't put it like throughout the good turf. So I think, especially if you have like fescue and it's 3 inches or higher anyway, you don't really need to worry about it too much.
Yeah. I mean the whole objective for putting down, like most of the time, if you're going for like a peat moss, yes, I know it's adding some organic material and all of that stuff into your soil, but most of the time, why people are putting down peat moss and stuff is to help hold moisture and to help with that seed germination. Mm-hmm. So if that's your reason for putting it down and you already have an existing lawn that's at 2 inches or higher, it's already providing you that canopy that's going to help shade out some of the sun, that's going to help hold that moisture in your soil level. So in my eyes, why spend the extra money and effort in doing that when you've already got something there in your existing lawn that's serving that same purpose?
Makes complete sense.
From what I heard, I agree.
Yeah, that's a given.
Yeah, you know me and Cam, you know it's very
Yeah.
much we don't agree. So
That's a given.
even when we don't agree, it's like a professional. I respect your perspective. I'm just gonna do my own thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm gonna pop this question up right here if we want to get at it.
Okay.
Final question. Complete rental of my yard. Treated yard for armly worms. Man, I'm sorry you had to deal with that for sure. I would put in a hybrid starter fert, GCI grass seed. Okay, that's the one mixed with the.
That's a cool blue.
Yeah, I always get them mixed up. The blue heat and the cool blue, they just seem backwards to me in my mind. They just they don't add up to me. Hybrids and Soil Alive. So one thing I'm gonna ask you, Kathleen, is are you basing all of this? I think you brought up the Soil Alive a couple of times. Are you basing this off of did you get your soil test done earlier that you're kind of basing this off? So that's one question that I've got. So let us know if you've got that. And I think your main thing was anything else that you need to do. I think you asked that a little later on. So any other thoughts or suggestions? I mean, I think you go ahead, Tur.
Oh, I thought you were reading her question, and I thought you were opening up to all of us. My bad. I looked up and saw it, but no. All I was going to say is it's a solid plan. So as long as it is, you're making data driven decisions, like them triple D's, like Polo was saying the other night. But the triple D's. So if you are doing those things based off of a soil test that you got done, that shows you your soil profile. I like soil tests that shows me the soil profile and its makeup, because what it does is it gives you more data to figure out how and at what frequency you're going to feed your lawn and what type of raw materials you should be looking for when you feed your lawn based off your soil profile. And you can't get that without your CEC and base saturation, although base saturation is loosely used here and there depending on your profession. What I really want to see is your CEC and your
CEC.
I really want to see that CEC because I feel like I can give you very sound information that's going to keep you from having super huge growth or having a whole bunch of nutrient washout that's not good for the environment. And that's really where we come. Well, I'll speak for myself. That's where I come from, that perspective, when I'm looking for that information. But other than that, let's say that you've applied everything and you said yes. So that's great. So I will say patience, trust the process, let that thing ride, get on it. As soon as your seedlings are about 2 inches in height, get after it. Start mowing it, get on it, get off it, and trust the process. Continue to implement those cultural practices that we've been preaching since early spring this year. We was probably preaching it late fall this year, late winter this year. We came out.
I know I was.
All right, we came out hot. You came at a whole series with it. So yes, I had a soil test at the beginning of the season. And Kathleen, do us a favor, email us that soil test. And I think that we can we might be able to unpack that, get a little more into it. Cam, if you want to drop your email in there for her so she can email, and then we can go over it as a team. And then I'm sure Cam, when he has time, he'll email you back some feedback as far as how you should move forward in the spring next year when it comes to your frequency of feeding, and maybe even point you in a more specific direction as far as what analysis you should be looking into. But shoot that over to us so we can help you. But patience. That's the thing I want to remind you to do. PJ?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've talked to her. I've actually gone out. We we talked about the yard. She addressed the armyworm situation. I knew it as soon as I pulled up. Like she had been hit with it and some nutsedge stuff. But we did talk a little bit about the soil test, but I didn't see it at the time. So
yeah.
So I think there was I think there was another one, but yeah, I agree. I don't think I think you've got a solid plan there. The only other thing is just make sure when you're putting down your starter fert, I don't know if you're planning for that to be your single application for the fall, or if you plan on following back up maybe a month or two after that with a follow-up application as your final. So I'm not sure if that's your setup, but just make sure you're getting down enough nitrogen. If you're only doing one application this fall, just make sure you're getting enough nitrogen down to cover you through the rest of the fall. Because that new seedling is gonna be hungry once it comes up.
Absolutely. Her final statement was funny. And Aiden, yeah, I had to use the bathroom. I came from my live and came to this live and then used the bathroom in between. I had to use the bathroom. I had to go. Oh, but she said, what she say, Kathleen? She said, we are going to bypass leveling this year. Smart choice. My Toro Craftsmaster will just have to work it.
Exactly. And I'm right there with you. It will be okay.
Yeah. Lynette Lewis had a good question, easy answer. Lynette, you never told us what product you won from Simple Lawn Solutions, unless we missed it. So we can tell you whether or not you could use it this season or just hold off, or this year, because this season had just started for cool season lawns.
Top dress.
So top dressing. PJ, anybody want to get after that?
I mean, I'll tell you my understanding of it, Lynette. Basically, I probably need to do some top dressing over here. A lot of people will say they have like clay, soil or whatever, and I think we've talked about that a little bit. You're not going to really know that unless you get some tests done. But in my opinion, it's not. So basically, with top dressing, you're putting down either soil, topsoil, or sand, or a mixture of both, in order to just kind of put some organic matter into the lawn, depending on what you use. Now, I use something called Leaf Grow. Has a lot of organic matter in it. When I have these spots and stuff over here, I use that Leaf Grow. I put that down first, and then I put my seed down. So basically, that's my understanding. But you also have to be careful, because a lot of this topsoil has like weed in it. And so if it's not something that you absolutely have to do, then you should bypass it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and for me, when it comes to the top dressing, that was a great explanation, PJ.
Yeah.
But for me, when it comes to top dressing and leveling can be looked at as the same thing. But to PJ's point, when you're dealing with a soil test that maybe has very low CEC, which means it has very low organic matter in there, which means its cation exchange capacity is going to be lower, because it doesn't have the proper compounds within the soil science in your soil profile in itself to hold and release nutrients. So for someone who has a CEC that's a 2.2, going with a high organic matter top dressing could greatly improve the soil biology of your soil your soil makeup, like its actual what's the word I'm looking for, the soil analysis, the structure. That's the proper word, right? So that's what you're going to want to keep in mind. And then from there, there's different options. Like you can use mushroom compost. Leaf Grow is a leaf compost, and the cool thing about that leaf compost is they heat it up to such a high level. It's manufactured and distributed. It's a DMV type product. You'll never see it outside of, well, you can't find it outside of DMV at the moment. I'm not going to put limitations on Leaf Grow. It'll probably be a really big, all distributing all over different regions in the years to come. But as of now, you can't find that product anywhere else. But their manufacturing process, they cook it and bake it so high that if there are any weed seeds, other crop seeds in that material, they're cooked to the point where they are no longer viable. But that just comes with knowing how to ask the right questions when you're trying to source your materials. So if you're in a situation to where you really need to do a solid top dressing, especially on new construction lawns that lack soil structures that are actively like going through a natural humification process and recycling root systems and shedding, like it's already got its biological system up and running. That's when you're going to want to look at getting it a jump start. You're going to want to introduce some organic material. Now, too much of anything is not good. And when you apply too much of that organic matter, you can end up with a bad situation. I'll let Cam expound on that as he wraps that full circle, um, as far as his perspective and what could happen if you put too much organic matter on your lawn.
Yeah. So when you get into excessive organic matter, you start to get a what they call it like a mushy or a muck type soil, to where now it no longer really drains. Like so, it just kind of tends to hold a lot of moisture, and what you don't want is your soil to be holding excessive moisture in its root zone or in its soil surface. So that is just a breeding ground for disease, fungus, all of that. And then it doesn't allow the nutrient uptake and the cycling that's needed when you've got excessive like organic matter. So you can't go too far with your organic matter, especially if you're just adding it into your lawn. So I'm a fan of build your soil, like build the soil that you've got. If you're dealing with a bare ground situation, that is an and you know that it is you've done some tests, you've done your soil test, and you know that you have a soil structure that is not sufficient, i.e. a new construction, that is a good opportunity for you to start introducing it and getting that jump start, as Turf was just talking about, getting that soil a little bit of a jump start and getting some of that organic matter in the soil to help you get going. But once you've got a lawn that's established and you've maybe got some weak spots here and there, or it's just not quite performing the way that you want it, dial in your nutrition program. Make sure you're dialing that in, because that root cycling effect is really what's going to start building deeper roots, building more roots that are going to die, that are going to create organic matter within your soil.
Yeah. Got another great question with Greek the Geek. Greek Geek. Greek Geek.
This one?
Yeah. So do you guys cover grow or pin mulch or special slope cover materials when seeding? I can tell you I've used a tackifier that I bought from my local agricultural store for a corner patch on my lawn 2 years ago to keep the seed from moving. Now, what I experienced with that tackifier is it sticks and it doesn't go anywhere. And I had a concern at some point because it took so long for it to finally break down and get out of the seed's way, that my concern was it was actually inhibiting the turf's or the seedling's ability to really get established, to really fully mature. I think when you're dealing with slopes, the best go-to method, which you probably don't want to hear, is probably going to be slit seed.
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
it's going to be the way to go.
You need a way to get that seed in the soil. Like that's really what you need to be able to do. Slit seeding is a good option. If you have the ability to get a aeravator, what it's going to do then is break up that top layer of soil, and now you can seed on top of it, come back on top of that again with the aerator and work that seed into the soil. Put you a light watering on it. Now you've kind of set that seed in the soil. Unless you have like soil running down that slope, now you've kind of set that seed in place. So what I've tended to do on sloped situations is making sure that I've worked the seed into the soil and it's not just sitting there.
Yeah.
Working it into the soil at least that quarter inch into the soil, and then come back with a light watering that I can control. And then at that point, I've kind of set that seed. Now it's now settled and it's now in that soil. And it's not necessarily going to wash away unless you just get like a heavy downpour. And at that point in time, it ain't really much you can do about that.
Right. Yeah. So I think and Polo said he uses peat moss on bare ground. So bare ground situations that aren't sloped, absolutely. That's PJ's go-to. PJ love her some peat moss. so yeah.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I'm not against it. My stance is don't let that be your crutch for dialing in your irrigation, and don't think that this gonna be your end all be all. I've done a lot of bare ground seeding. I won't say a lot, but I've done a significant amount of bare ground seeding without any covering at all. And they've turned out amazing. And I don't think the ones that didn't turn out well in spots or areas, I don't think peat moss would have saved me. I think there were other issues that were going on that affected those results.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna get out there. I saw another question that came in that was good.
Branch one, what's your last FERT application? Yeah, I figured.
Yep, it was that one, and then I think one more that I had saw also.
You're welcome, Kathleen. She says, perfect. Thanks a bunch, guys. Patience has never been my thing, especially when my yard has always been pristine. Yeah, you got to be patient. You got to give it time. You got to trust that process.
Yep, and that's one of the things that we try to remind people. Even me earlier this week or last week, I was getting a little impatient, and I was getting a little, on the backyard. I was getting a little antsy in the backyard, and then I just had to realize, I was like, Cam, it's just been over 8 days. Like, chill out.
I'm rubbing off on you, I think.
I was like, Cam, you got to chill out. But I think the thing is that I knew something was up. The lawn just wasn't recovering and wasn't responding the way that I was used to seeing it recover when it was under stress.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew my lawn, and something just wasn't quite right. And it was watering. Like I didn't have enough water in certain areas of the lawn that were getting more sun. So at that point, I made sure I went in and I dialed in my irrigation, got those areas taken care of. And over the past 4 days of doing that, like now I'm sitting here like, yeah, this is more like it. So to answer that question, last FERT application to throw down before winter. So I like to do my last FERT application earlier than what most people think. I don't wait till the end of the season. My last granular application will probably be the end of September. End of September is going to be my last granular application, because at that point the turf is still going to be growing. Like it's still going to be growing. I want to get all of that nutrient and everything that I'm putting down into the plant. The later you wait in the season, the less demand for water and nutrient uptake that plant is actually going to need. So if you wait till late or November when you're getting ready to put down your last application, try bringing that earlier. I know my application is probably earlier, way earlier than most. That'll be my last granular, and I will continue to feed with liquid up until probably middle of October, and then I'm probably going to cut it off probably right before Halloween. I'm probably just going to cut it off at that point. So everything will be liquid. It'll be some simple lawn solutions. My backyard, I'm probably going to be putting down 15/15 because that's what I've got for that. In my backyard, in my front yard, I'm probably going to be going with that 16/4/8. 16/4/8 in my front yard because I need the phosphorus in my front.
Yep, I'm going out with that 16/4/8 probably Thursday or Friday. And I'm pulling the trigger early because I'm about to leave. Like I got stuff like my whole recovery cycle has been chopped down by 8 weeks because I'm pulling out of here much earlier. But yeah, that sounds like a solid plan, Cam.
Yeah. So I'll go my last granular because it's gonna be that hybrid. It's gonna feed the rest of the season. So I want to go ahead and get it down, let it start feeding it, and then it's gonna be good. And I'll put out some liquids to substitute for a little bit later on. What about you, PJ?
How much N are you putting down with your hybrid?
So at seeding, I went down with 3/4.
Mm-hmm.
My next one is going to be 3/4 too.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah,
So that's going to put me at 1.5 pounds of granular on the ground. And then I'll probably, with all of my little spoon feedings of liquid, maybe I'll get another quarter pound. Maybe I'll get another 1/4 pound out of it.
Yeah.
And that'll be it. So I'll be just at 1 3/4 pounds for the fall.
Kathleen is funny. Polo laughing about that A1A because he got a super stores supply.
He does.
Yeah, he does.
I have like one bag left, bro, and I'm like, I don't want to use it because it's my last bag, but I have one bag left.
It's used as an air freshener.
So one Kathleen had another question.
Yeah.
Once the seed has germinated, then what does she fertilize with?
So again, I'm going to refer back to let us see your soil test.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I agree.
I mean, you know what you should fertilize with? Nitrogen. That I can guarantee you.
Yeah.
Nitrogen. I can't tell you any other analysis. And I don't mean that. I hope that didn't come across any other way than what I meant it. But that's what like the only thing I can tell you that you definitely want to use is nitrogen. But I don't even know how much to tell you to use because I haven't seen your soil test. Because if you have a super low pH, I don't really want you to. I mean, if you have a super low CEC, I really don't want you to put out anything more than 1/4 pound.
Yep.
But if your CEC is solid, say you're sitting somewhere between the 7 and the 9, then I can tell you to, bump that up to like 1/2 pound, maybe even 3/4 pound. Because I know that it's not going to wash out and go to waste. And since we have cooler temperatures, the nitrogen is less volatile. And we can help pick you out maybe a urea-coated nitrogen that's going to self-stabilize a little bit anyway. So this is where the specifics of seeing your soil test, I'm a little adverse to giving you any true recommendations as to what to put down and when without seeing your soil test.
Yep.
And I know that kind of seems like a cop-out answer, but I want to give you tangible
and accurate
B's type information that I feel good about when I go to sleep. I don't want you to I don't want to just tell you to go out there and throw anything down because you throw anything down, it'll green up, it'll look good, but that doesn't mean that's what your soil profile actually needed.
Right.
Yep. And what you'll get out of this channel, triple D's, data-driven decisions.
Period.
That's one of
all of our channels.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like the people you see on the screen, including Polo, like that's one of the things that we do believe in is like if we're gonna make a decision or recommend something to us, when we get a question like that, it may seem like we're dancing around it, but we just don't have the solid information behind it, the substance behind it, to make a solid recommendation. So shoot us that information and we can definitely follow up with you.
Yeah. Radioactive coming in next.
What else? Yeah, so that's another one that was like, it's gonna depend. So it's definitely gonna depend on like how much you put down with your starter fertilizer. How much in did you go down with? Like how much was in that first round of fertilizer that went down when you seeded? Typically, if you go down with a starter fert, depending on how much you go down with, you can look at, and depending on your soil type, you'll have to look at maybe four weeks after that seeding is about when you should be looking at your next fertilization. What that next fertilization is going to be heavily dependent on what your soil profile is and what nutrients are already there. If you have a low CEC soil, meaning it is heavily sandy, you may have to go down with something a little sooner than that 4-week mark. So when seeds germinate, that takes a lot of energy. Like that takes a lot of energy, a lot of nutrient, and all of that for it to get established. My philosophy is by the time you get ready to put that first mow on it, or just before that first mow, it is hungry, depending on how much you put down at the time of seeding and your CEC profile. So I think that's the best way I think that's the best answer I have for that, to be able to answer that one.
Yeah, and I want to just add to what you just said, because I don't think a lot of people realize the seed does not germinate based off any of the nutrients you put out.
Yeah.
The seed has all the energy it needs within the shell of that seed to germinate and to establish its first set of leaves, which aren't the true leaves, it's just its first set of leaves, and then to get its initial roots established. Then it depends on what's in your soil profile. So don't think that your fertilizer had anything to do with the rate of germination. That was just adequate moisture, heat that contributed to expedite the germination process and the biology with that particular cultivar of seed that tends to germinate faster. But past that, it comes agronomy. That's when agronomy kicks in. Agronomic practices. And that's where we're trying to help you by saying, hey, get a soil test that shows us your soil profile. That's what we want to see, because that's how we know how to. There's probably much smarter people than us who knows how to help you without ever seeing your soil profile. Won't take it from them, because I'm not smart enough to disprove them. But I'm going to tell you what I know from the classes I've attended in the past 2 years and all the questions I've asked at my extension office. I need to see your soil profile.
And the thing with what you're saying is soil profile is knowing what that CEC number is and what nutrients are there.
Yeah.
And having that, so making sure that if you are getting a soil test, make sure that CEC value is there. I think I've done a full video on that describing the importance of knowing what that number is. Knowing what your CEC is allows you to formulate a plan of how you should be feeding your lawn. Period. Because if you've got a low CEC, which I have, you can't load large amounts of nutrients into your soil and expect them to stay there, because it just doesn't have the cation exchange capacity to do it. You need to spoon feed for that.
There was a technology, I think it was called CRAP or CARP technology, to where it was smart enough to release and reabsorb the nutrients. Yeah, but that product's dead. So, but unless you're dealing with a science that knows to soak up additional nutrients. I don't understand all the science behind it, but I saw enough on it that it intrigued me. Everything Cam is saying is that's law.
And I mean, knowing that number, if you've got a low CEC, that's the benefit of why I think I like protein, and I also like higher bricks.
Right.
Because I need something that releases slower, because my soil is not able to hold on to a lot of quick release. If I have a fertilizer that has a lot of quick release in it, that means it's going to come out quick and it's going to leave quick, because my soil is not able to hold on to it. Yeah. So what I'm looking for is something that's able to release a little slower, knowing that my soil is not going to be able to hold on to a large amount really quick. That means it's going to be releasing just enough for my soil to be able to hold on to it over that extended period of time and actually utilize it.
Yep. Yeah. PJ, anything to add?
No, you guys covered it.
Yeah, we beat that one all the way down.
Yeah. So, Turf, Lynette answered your question.
Oh, that's a well, okay. So if you have a sprayer, you could use that for your lawn, but that's more so for your garden. That's what that product is. That product's for your garden. Now, it's all-purpose plant food, and what is a grass blade? Grass is a plant. So yeah, you can use it out there. That's more so taking a spoon feeding approach with those lower rates. But I wouldn't use that on your lawn. And if I knew that you wanted I don't know how that worked out. Maybe I just assumed because you were a gardener, I would send you the plant food versus a lawn care product. So apologies if you wanted a lawn care product, because I'm pretty sure you won that on my channel. But yeah, that is for your garden, and it's a really good product. I mean, you've been watching me long enough to know that I've had a very productive garden. But can you use that on your lawn? Absolutely. It won't hurt anything. It will actually, you'll see a response out of it, I'm sure. But you need a hose-in sprayer or some type of backpack sprayer to apply that product. That doesn't come with a built-in hose-in sprayer, that an attachment like all their other products. So it's not labeled for the lawn, but technically it is, because it's plant food. If you kind of picking up what I'm putting down. But yeah, I would use that in your garden this season or next season. That's where I would use that product at.
Cool. I think Greek Geek had a follow-up on the top dressing. Rolling the seed in can help. But what I still recommend trying to work that seed into the soil somehow. And if you were able to do that and roll it, I mean, that's an even better option, which is kind of what, like when I was saying, being able to wet that soil a little bit to get it to set. That's kind of what the roller is also going to be able to do.
Yeah, and I would argue that if you put the seed down before you top dressed it, you should be in a pretty good position, especially if you rolled the soil that you put
down after.
Yeah, right. If you rolled it and then rolled it, put the top dressing on it and then rolled it again, then you have a nested seed, so to speak. You give it a nice little water in before Mother Nature comes with a heavy rain or something like that. And then once you get, about 60-70% germination, you should be in a good position. Hey, Andel, how you doing? Thanks for being here.
What's going on, Andel? So quick question. Hybrid's good for new seed. They got to start a fert. So if that's what you need, make sure you pick a fertilizer that's based on your soil test needs. Honestly, I mean, the whole starter fertilizer and what needs to go down at seeding and all of that, it's all based on what your soil test says and what you actually need. So if you've got sufficient phosphorus, you don't really need to go down with a high phosphorus based fertilizer at the time of seeding. So again, data-driven decisions. at seeding, like my backyard, I didn't go down with anything with phosphorus in it. I went down with a 12-0-20, I think is what I went down with. For one, that's what I had. And for two, I didn't need phosphorus. So boom, I'm gonna give it some nitrogen and potassium. Boom. That's good enough to go down that seeding.
Yeah.
And I think PJ, I think you might have did something similar with your seeding. I don't think you went down with like a typical starter fert.
No, I didn't do the starter fert at all. My phosphorus level was pretty even keel. So I just went down with the 22.77
Okay.
hybrids.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Polo added to that. Yeah, weasel it in. Yeah, we've seen Cam talk about weaseling it in.
Yeah, man, that little weasel is a beast. I mean, for like little spot seeding type areas, can't beat it. Can't beat it. Like all the areas in my front yard that I killed off, I weaseled all of those in because they were close as what I had to bare ground. So I seeded all of those, got all my seed and everything spread, came through with the weaseled everything in. No issues at all. Like that was the first thing that came up.
I'm reading through the chat. You got one that's really gonna make you laugh. Y'all need to come check out Cam's IG because that's where you're gonna see the answer to this question.
I'm pretty sure this the one that you was talking about.
Y'all need to check out Cam's IG for that one. But Kathleen, I'm glad we were able to help you.
Yeah, so my way of getting rid of moles is trapping them. Like I definitely I'm a trap person for getting rid of moles, and I really think that's the best way to get rid of them. In my opinion, that's the only way I've seen and been able to effectively get rid of them. The only other thing I will say is find out if you have a high grub or insect population in your lawn, because that will increase the influx of moles into your lawn. They also love earthworms. So if you have a high worm population, that's another one of their delicacies that they like to eat. So it may not be insects, but it can also be an indicator that you may have insects or you have a high population of earthworms, which is a good thing to have.
Yeah. I agree. Wholeheartedly, I agree. Get rid of your grubs. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah. See, man, Polo ain't even working. Polo ain't even on here, and we still on the same page.
Right. We working. Radioactive said, got it. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it. And Radioactive saying, man, shoot this over your soil test. We don't say that to say, to try to like dance around it and not give you an answer. We just need to see your soil test.
Yeah. Yep.
Send us your soil test, and between the four of us, we will figure it out. And if we can't, we will phone a friend. I promise you.
Yep.
We will phone somebody smarter than us.
So, see website, I think you had a question on sprinklers.
Yeah, he said, what do you recommend?
I think Polo answered him on that too.
And yeah, that's why I'm putting this one up here. It's like Polo just shot you a real good answer on that one. I do like the commercial hunter heads on a spike.
Yeah,
I'm a hunter rotator on a spike. I think they perform amazing. I like their heads and also their valves for like in-ground irrigation.
Yeah, I'll tell you, out of those two that he had up there, go Impact. Spend a few extra dollars. You're gonna put out so much more water in such a shorter period of time. Go the Impact route with those orbits. I think the price difference might be like $5. Go with the Impacts, and it just sounds so OG. You know, it just sounds good, man.
Yeah.
Go with the Impact, bro.
It does sound good, but I like the silence of just like a slight little.
You like that cicada sound?
That's all you like. I
Down
can
with the
barely
sprinklers.
if I'm sitting outside, I can barely hear it. But if I'm in the house, I can't hear it at all. But like outside, I can just barely hear it, and I'm like, yes, I know that water is going down.
Mm. Oh, for the person who gave us a thumbs down, please let us know what you didn't like. Shoot us an email. We'd love to.
Yes, please do. That is a requirement when you come to any of our channels. If you are going to leave a thumbs down, please address your concern at the administrator's office. So please.
And I am not the administrator.
No, on the individual channels, wherever you're at.
Yeah, just let us know.
Drop it in the comment.
Yeah, what we did, what we said, what you didn't like. You ain't got to put it in the comment. I understand. Some people are shy. Just shoot us an email. Say, hey, I'd appreciate it if you got to your questions faster. Don't spend so much time talking. Got it. We'll note it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We don't like you because we don't like you. All right. We can't do nothing about that. My mama said, don't try to make everybody happy. Keep it moving.
Keep it moving. Hey, can't do nothing about that one.
I feel like, what's that? I feel like I've heard spray apps help in low CEC scenarios, foliar uptake. That's true.
Yep.
Maverick, if you got a low CEC and you're going to do a foliar application, you're not dependent on your soil profile at that point. You're applying it directly to the foliage of that plant, which is relying on foliar uptake. So you bypass the soil process and you're in there. Yeah.
So I do want to take a quick break. We're gonna get ready to wrap this thing up, but I still see people coming into the live. Like I don't want to shortchange the people, but we're gonna take a little bit of a break real quick, and we're gonna jump into a couple of things that we want to talk about. So little intermission. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this discount code up here that we do have. 30%. We have another couple of hours. You have got an hour and some change to go. Stock up. Like this is your liquid. This is your liquid applications. I think we were just talking to. I think somebody was just asking about spray applications for low CEC. Yes, that is what I have been doing. I am a supporter of that. And this product right here, check them out. They will be, or they were on our live that we did do last Saturday. And you can check those products out in action on both of PJ and Turf's channel. They've been using them for some time. I am now joining the team of being able to see how these products perform. And y'all know me, I'm gonna put them through the paces, and I'm gonna let you know what I think about them. So this is a 30% off discount code. Make sure you stock up. 30% is a big deal to be able to get ready for next season. So that takes care of your liquid. And just because we working team, and we always trying to bring something to the community, we gonna make sure we give y'all another one right behind that. So in a good program, you need to make sure that you got a good granular to go along with it. And what do we have? That good higher bricks. Y'all have heard us talking about it earlier. A lot of y'all have been using it, as I see that y'all are asking questions about it. PJ's been using it all this season, on the latter part of this season. I've been using it for 2 years, last year in my lawn, this year in some other people's lawns that I've been working with. And results are amazing. And you will at least get a 70-day feed that we have seen with our own eyes. And I have no doubt that it will push another 20 days, as it says on the bag. So check it out. Make sure you get your soil test. Figure out what analysis that you need. They also have garden fertilizers also for our gardeners out there in the community. Check them out. It's an option. We always like to be able to bring something to the community to make sure that we're contributing to y'all. Y'all can check it out and decide if you want to get it and if you want to use it on your own. Anything else y'all want to use? Anything y'all want to add in that intermission?
Yeah, and we also want to hear back from you guys. If you actually get these products and you use them, let us know how they work for you, because everybody's yard is a little bit different. microclimates can play a part in your results. I mean, anything can play a part in your results. So we'd like to hear back from you as far as how it worked out for you.
Yep, for sure. So 2 discount codes. The one here is for your hybrid fertilizer. I'll go ahead and pop this other one up there. This is for the Simple Lawn Solutions, which is the liquid product that you could use.
30% off.
30% off.
30. That's a big savings.
That's a savings.
I'll be stocked up for next season.
Yeah, I don't care how you split that. 30% off is a big deal.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna jump back over here. Let's see what we've got going on. I thought I saw a couple of questions in here.
Yeah, 9 miles. We had army worms. Yep.
Yep. So I didn't have army worms in my lawn. I thought I did, but I was just being impatient. The lawn was just struggling. But I did find army worms in my neighbor's yard right across the street from me. And at that point, I came right across the street and made sure I put down a preventative. So that was just preventative measure. If they were, did I need to? Probably not. But was I really trying to make sure that I was good? And I didn't, and I had already seeded. So I didn't want to lose any of the turf that I had just seeded. I wanted to be preventative and go down with a preventative measure to make sure that I was going out with something to try to prevent those army worms. If they was across the street, they can really, really easy get across the street to my lawn.
Yeah. And the way I felt about it, Cam is north. I mean, he's south of me. So I was like, oh, okay, that's my warning. I ain't playing with it. I had a little half a bag left. I was going to give it away to somebody, but I was like, I've come too far.
Yep.
I'm too far. I'm not. So I went ahead and put out at the preventative rate, and I had it. I didn't have to go buy it. It was just sitting in my garage. So
it was funny. It was funny because PJ was first. And did you just kind of see how it just moved up the coast? Yep. So PJ is a little farther down in VA. She had the experience with army worms. And me and Turf were sitting up here in Maryland like, oof.
That's rough.
Oof. And then I was watching some people down. I think Oli got hit down in North Carolina. So he got hit hard in North Carolina. And then it was like, all right, I know they're in North Carolina. Then PJ started talking about it, and she's in VA, and I'm like, ooh, all right. And then next thing, they just started coming farther and farther up north, and I found them in my neighbor's lawn. What was that? Maybe a week or two ago that I was telling y'all about. Maybe a week ago. Yeah, and I went out. Yeah, I went out and did the bucket test with the salt. So if you want to know if you're dealing with army worms, since we're talking about it, there is a what they call the bucket test. You can take a gallon of water, mix in some Dawn dish detergent is what people have been using. Lemon scented is said to be the best, but I did go down with some other just whatever Dawn we had under the counter, and I poured that gallon of water down. If you see an area that is already dead and you see an area that's green, you want to try to get in that mid ground and kind of cover that area, because you want to see they're probably going to be moving towards the greener area. So you want to kind of find that border of where the green and your dead portion of your lawn is. Pour that whole gallon there in a little section. Give it 2 or 3 minutes. If you got army worms, they'll be coming out of there, and you will know it. And I was surprised at how quickly it happened. And they literally just started crawling up out of the ground. And I was like, ooh.
And it's because it's smothering them, right? They can't breathe, right? Yeah.
That's what I heard. I haven't understood the whole science behind it, but it's something that they can't breathe, and they just need to get it off of. They need to get out to air.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's why they come up. Chips and guac in the building. What's up, Will?
I meant to get to that too. Yo, what's good, my man, Will?
Man, Will in the building. Appreciate you, man.
All right, so I'm gonna jump down.
Match precipitation.
Hunter, yeah.
Can't match, beat it.
Yeah, I'm not a well, I'm not gonna say I'm not a fan because I haven't used them, but the MPs are not. I don't really use the MPs very much. I see the benefit of them, but I haven't used the MP. I think I've got too much area to cover. I think I could do them in my front yard, but for my backyard, I just have to have so many of them to cover all of it.
Yeah. What else we got? Hidden VA. What'd you say, PJ?
No, I was looking at Polo's comment. Just make sure you try your best to prevent those army worms next year, as opposed to fighting them after the fact. They're here now. They're here now, man. I mean, we had them this year. You can probably put out some prevention for them next year. I will. I will be dropping something.
Just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think just because of the fact that it's right across the street from me and I found them that close in the area, I'll definitely be going down with a preventative next year.
I would say that's definitely a call for, unless you guys, and I say you guys because I'll be gone, but I'd argue that if we have a super harsh winter, the way that it is looking like it may be, you might be able to wait and see if you need it. I'm not saying that you need to, but you got to remember that's a warm season. It's more of a warm season pest, and depending on what kind of weather we have this winter, their eggs may not survive unless they get smart and put them in places to where you got to imagine that at least some amount of that population will survive the winter, no matter how bad it is. So the best route will probably be going some type of preventive route. But there was the whole that the way the weather was and that storm pattern, how the hurricanes, they pushed them this far.
Yeah.
North. We don't usually even see them. And the reason why it's such a panic for us is because our grass doesn't aggressively recover as fast as Bermuda and St. Augie does. So that's why it's not so much of a concern for us.
And then if you lose it during this season and you get past your seeding time frame and window, now you got to try to spring seed that thing and
have fun with that.
Yeah, good luck.
In the transition zone. That's what I was saying. If you're north of Pennsylvania, I'd say you definitely, or if you're in the Pacific Northwest or something like that, you'll be all right. But if you in Virginia, DC, or Maryland, it's going to be a rough year. It's going to be a rough year.
I want to say what up, George. I see you joined the chat from Princess Cut. I want to say what's up. Hey, appreciate you for stopping in here.
Yeah. What else we got?
And so Turf, what I will say is I'm going down with a preventative.
I don't blame you.
Because my thing is if I can at least break the cycle, knowing that if they were here this year and they were that close, next year there's some survival rate. There's going to be something that's going to survive.
Yeah.
Boom. I'm going to try to break the cycle next year, and the following year will be the year that I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna just wait. I'm gonna just wait and see that following year.
Right. Got ate up with. Oh, you in Columbia? Oh man, I went through Fort Jackson for MEPS, and I went to USC. How about that, Greek geek? I didn't know you was in Columbia. Oh, Gamecocks. Turf gonna be real mowing next year. I might. We'll see. We'll see. That boy, he might break out with a German European real mower. We'll see. I'll know within weeks of getting there.
Turf, you're gonna have to figure out. You're gonna have to figure out what you're gonna do when you get there. You're gonna have to go low cut. You're gonna have to go low cut or.
Yeah, man. So, like I said, I'm about to shift gears back to lawn care. Hey, gardening people, just be patient with me. I gave you the whole summer. So, you're going to watch me planning and strategizing, trying to see how I'm going to come strong, and you won't see very many American products being used on my channel next year either, because I really want to put myself to the test from an agronomy standpoint, and I want to use what the Germans have readily available to them. So you may see a splash splurge of some hydrotane, which is actually available in Europe now, so that's not a big deal. You may see a little bit of simple lawn solutions because it's really easy for me to get my hands on it. But I'm going to argue 70% of the products that you see, you will not be able to read the label because it will be in a completely different language. So,
but I think that's dope. I think that's dope, though, and I think that is really like one of the ultimate challenges, especially after like you've kind of dialed in your knowledge a little bit. Not that you're done learning, but you have a foundation of knowledge, and then it was like, yo, let me go start over from scratch.
Right.
And then let me go build it. Yeah, right. It's going to be pretty dope to watch.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it for sure. Oh, they got a question for PJ right there, C. Webster. That's all you, PJ.
Preventative, no. No, you don't want to mess around with your new sod for, believe it's
new seed. It's new seed.
Yeah. No. He said, new seed. Oh, new my seed. Bad. A preventative on your new seed. What when you say preventative, what do you mean? A preventative what? Are you talking about weed control?
Yeah, because Polo came behind him with the same question.
That's a good question. What type of preventative are we talking about?
Hey, Will, y'all know y'all can pull up, man. Y'all can pull up. It's not actually you get the pairs, depending on where you're flying in at, you'll get the pairs before you get to me. But I'll meet you over there.
Everybody trying to visit turf in Germany.
Hey, it ain't no question. I'm going. Like me and wife here we are going. You're gonna be there for 3 years too? Oh yeah. We probably gonna be there next year, to be honest with you.
Worms. Oh, okay. So it's good that you clarified that. So he's talking about worms, grubs, and seeds.
Honestly, like, so if it's new, like right now, honestly, I can't really tell you that because mine that got ate up was my sod. I got it in May, and it got ate up.
I'm thinking about the label for that GrubX, and I don't think it has anything to say about seeding. And if it doesn't, you should be safe.
You'll be good. The reason I say that is it has the same active ingredient. The Bio Advance, I'll say the Bio Advance has the same active ingredient as the Dilox does, which is like trimepha something or another. And it's the same active ingredient. It's a different concentration, but it does not have any issues at time of seeding. It is not an effect. It is not a herbicide. It's basically a insecticide.
Yeah, I got your question a little bit mixed up. I'm thinking the sod, which is what got damaged for me, but for seed, I actually had seeded.
Trichlorophon.
When I put down the Bio Advance, and that seed is taken off. It hasn't been affected at all. So
yeah, PJ's got the firsthand experience. I've read the labels and did the research because I went down with some Dilox and I was seeding at the same time. So yeah, I actually went down with some Dilox, boom, knocked it down, and then put some seed right on top of it with some fert and watered all of it in.
Yep.
Trichlorophon? I think that's how you pronounce it. Trichlorophon. I've been over here trying to figure out how to pronounce this word.
Oh yeah, I knew it was try or something. And after that, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, and then Will came in and he said GrubX and Bio are good on new side, tried and true. Boom, there you go. So you're good to go. And then C. Webster, I'm pretty sure he's in our area. I think he's in the DMV area, right? So they're in his area if he's in our area. Polo working while he working and ain't working all at the same time.
The hardest non-job having working joker I ever seen.
He ain't paid in the Social Security now one time his whole life. He ain't gonna have no medication.
He said ain't never paid into Social Security.
He ain't gonna have no Social Security. He ain't gonna have no Medicaid. No Chesterfield, Virginia. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they in your area, bro. They in your area.
That's by PJ. Yeah. That's by
Yeah.
PJ.
So I guess we're gonna go ahead and get ready to wrap it up here in a few. I'm gonna just do a last. We didn't really talk about your lawn turf. We ain't kind of talk about the status of where you are. What have you done? What you looking like? You good? You bad? You coming along? What you looking like?
So my back is probably at 90% recovery right now. So I'll back up. So on the side plot, I hacked it down. I hacked it down 360. I brought it down to 2 inches all the way around. I didn't walk it down at all. I just took it all off at the same time.
Straight chopped his neck off.
Straight chopped his neck off. Do the reset. I guess a how to cut reset. The reason why I do that, I'm gonna tell you in the video that I should be releasing next week, maybe even this week, is because when I leave, the contractors out here, they're gonna cut it that low. My turf has 2 years on it. So it should be able to handle that low cut moving forward. So what I'm really doing is prepping it to be cut by someone else who cuts it way lower than I would be cutting it, which is somewhere around 2.5 inches. So I've kind of punished it. Now the side plot, I overseeded that with the remaining perennial rye Kentucky bluegrass seed blend that I had. I overseeded it again with that, which is I'm probably at like an 80% germination with that. The backyard and the front yard, I didn't do anything to it but bring down the height of cut to reset the height of cut and feed it and water it. So I did a light dethatching on the side plot, overseeded, fed it, and then I just brought down the height of cut in the front and the back, and everything's on the road to recovery. I'd argue that the front is probably in the worst condition at about 70% recovery. But we're in a good place. And like I said, we're about to shift gears. You're about to get a lot of lawn care content on my way out of here. I'm going to GIE. So if you're going to be there, I'll see you there.
Good GIE. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, GIE gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. C. Webster, I've talked to Turf and PJ. Oh, well, then I know who you are. I know exactly who you are. I thought when you said Chesterfield, I know who you are. Cool. So yeah, that's what's going on with me. The videos will be coming soon, and then I'm off to Germany right after GIE. I'm off to Germany.
PJ, you want to give the people a recap where you at
with my lawn?
Yeah.
So my back is in week 4 after seeding, and then the front is week 2. And it's looking good. So my front, I overseeded. I wanted to get some Kentucky bluegrass in there, so I used the 365 SS on the front part, it's about 3,000 square feet.
Right, so today we're talking about super telephotolizers before.
My bad.
I was like, who am I talking to? Yeah. For the front and the side. So that's where that is. And in the back, I use the Mountain View seed lateral spread, and that's looking real good. And I just this past weekend, I just threw my hybrids down in the back, because when I seeded, I actually used a Simple Lawn Solution 1648 at seeding, and then so I've just recently put the hybrids. It's been 4 weeks, so I put that hybrids out there, and it's really taken off now. So that's where I am. Got some ruts back there though, which I'm like really annoyed with, but it's the backyard. It's the water pools back there.
Yeah.
And I haven't really figured out what to do. I already have a French drain running through there, and it's still really wet. So still trying to work on that. But
yeah.
See, that also might be another reason why your backyard did so well this summer.
mm-hmm.
Not only the feeding, it was holding moisture when it was hot as I don't know what outside, and it was shaded.
Yeah.
So that's probably why you fed it good. It had a full stomach, and all
Yeah.
the other and all the other factors, it wasn't getting as beat down with the summer heat and stresses as
Yeah.
like your front yard was. That might be another reason why you was out there cutting every 2 days.
It's all good, man. You know, lesson learned. Because I went down. I think I went down a little bit heavy on that hybrids. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it's just all factors to kind of think about, and it was like, yo, that might be why it performed so well. When you was like, yeah, it kind of holds water, and I'm like, huh, that's like one of the things that a lot of people struggle with in the summer is stuff drying out, and it just doesn't have enough moisture.
And that's
so
how my backyard is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't have enough moisture, and it's hard to keep that moisture in the soil. So, yeah, that might be a good factor. So, well, that puts, I guess I'm the last one. I'll do a recap.
Yeah, where you at? What you doing over there?
Yeah, so I went
checkerboard singing over there. I see the checkerboard. I see it.
Yeah. You know, so I brought everything down to 2 inches, front, back, and test plot. Brought everything down to 2 inches. Front yard was everything was dethatched everything. More so a power raking, pulling all of that debris and everything out of there. Opened that canopy up, and I went in the front yard with Mountain View Seed top choice lateral spread. The same thing that I had over in the test plot that y'all have been watching all season. That's what I got going in the front yard. But I spiked it with a little bit of Blue Bank Kentucky bluegrass. So we're going to see if we can get a little extra color and a little extra thickness in that front yard. So we're going to see how that goes. And in the backyard, I did receive a special blend from Mountain View Seed that they put together for me. It is 3 varieties of lateral spread and some Kentucky bluegrass that they are known for, called the 365 SS. So that is what went down in the backyard, and we're going to see how it comes in. Everything is coming in good. I was a little nervous about a week ago. It just wasn't coming in the backyard, and I figured out I just didn't have enough water in certain areas. So I dialed in my irrigation the past 3 or 4 days, and it's turned around. Germination's going. Existing grass is recovering. We're good. And this week I'm gonna be feeding it with some Simple Lawn Solutions liquid. I'm gonna probably go down with probably 1648 in the front and 15015 in the back. It's time for it to grow. And I'm gonna probably put the first mow on the back maybe tomorrow, probably Wednesday.
Portia, I'm sure you'll be fine. What's going on, Nick? Sunday Backyard Farmer. I had the privilege of hanging out with his lovely wife on my live earlier today. Thanks for being here, bro. I appreciate it. Kathleen said good night. And then, Portia, she said she just purchased, I think it's Portia Farrow.
Yeah.
I just purchased the Mountain View Seed, hoping it does well in this VA heat and humidity. I wanted to mix with Kentucky bluegrass, but was intimidated of the high maintenance. I don't know about the high maintenance portion, other than, making sure you stay consistent with your cultural practices, which is watering and mowing and feeding.
Yeah.
But unless you're real mowing, when you say high maintenance, I think of real mowing. And I don't think you're going to be real mowing, so you should be fine.
I don't worry about the higher maintenance of Kentucky bluegrass. Kentucky bluegrass does need more water.
Yes.
But I don't really worry about that when I'm mixing it with a tall fescue, because that tall fescue is going to help shade and hold some of that additional moisture with that Kentucky bluegrass. If I just had 100% Kentucky bluegrass, I'd be a little more concerned about it. But if you're going down with a mixture, yeah, I wouldn't even. You'll be fine. You can you could have mixed in some of that Kentucky bluegrass if you wanted to.
Right. She said it requires a lot of watering. I always mow at 3.5. So yeah, you'll be fine. Even if it tries to slip into dormancy on you, the good thing about it, when you keep it watered, guess what? It'll be back. Don't worry about it. It won't die all the way down. You'll be in a good place. That's a decent height that you're working with as well, 3.5 inches. And I'd say your hardest year is going to be your first and second year. I mean, after you put 2 years on that thing, after you put 2 years on it, you got a whole nother plant. You got a whole different kind of lawn. And then once you get past year 5, it's kind of like, when you turn 18, your insurance is ridiculously high. And then when you turn 23, I think is it 23 or 25, when you first get that discount for being a little bit more mature adult, that's what you're looking at for that 2 to 5 year gap. It's like your insurance high just plummets, and then you get married. When you get married, that's when you're in the 7 to 10 range, and your insurance costs nothing.
Yeah.
Unless your spouse is reckless on the road, whether that's the male or the female, it don't matter. But once you get married, man, you can save all types of money. So, think about it with your turf. It's just maturing over time.
Yeah, and I'm a big proponent of the over time. Like over time, like your lawn will mature. You just got to make sure you put in that time, be consistent, and it'll only get better. Which is why I'm struggling to burn down my front yard until I get at least 2 years on my back, because I can't be babying both of them.
Can't go both ways.
I can't baby both of them. Right now, I'm still babying the backyard. Let me get like 2 years on the backyard, and I'm going to burn down the front and start over.
Yeah, I don't have any experience when it comes to the dormant seeding. Where's the dollar? I just, I see in my seed window, which is usually a week before, right around Labor Day. And if it didn't come up, I throw a little bit more seed out come early spring. I don't really deal with the dormant seeding.
Yeah, so tired of working in September. I mean, I like seeding within the window that's needed. But the thing is that I think it can be done. I think Polo just came in here.
I like his answer too. If I'm going to dormant seed, I would prefer the dormant seed the next year, late winter. I would prefer to get my seed out early before the ground is warm enough for it to germinate, rather than put it out late fall, early winter. That's the route I would go personally. Just because it just makes more sense in my brain.
Yeah,
I have no scientific data to back that. It's just like my mind likes that idea more.
So in my mind, I don't really call that dormant seeding.
Nah,
earlier. you just seeding early, but see what it's doing is giving you a longer window to establish that new grass before it gets smacked upside the head with the summer heat.
Yes.
That's what you want to do. Like that, honestly, that's that's a part of the purpose of dormant seeding. If you want to get as long of a duration the next season to get that turf established. Like that's the whole goal of it. And I like what Turf and Polo is saying best. It's just something about letting seed sit on the ground like months at a time, wet potentially, covered under snow. What's the real germination rate gonna be after the end of all of that? So
is it gonna make it, or the birds are gonna eat it?
Yeah,
seed out my yard all the time. Like, it's survival of the fittest during that winter. Your seed probably gone. Like, that's how I feel about it. But yeah.
I'm a fan of seeding in the window in the fall, to be honest with you. Like I know this time of year, I've just got it blocked off that I'm just gonna be busy and I'm gonna have to put some work in. And then come the middle of September, end of September, I'll sit back and watch the sprinklers run and watch the grass grow. And I'll be ready to really cut it come October, and I'm gonna be cutting all the way up till it stops growing, and then I fill in and be thicker in the spring. I'm not a fan of spring seeding at all.
Yeah, well, warm season language is foreign to us too. We just try to pick up as much as possible by watching people like you, and I really like Budget Long, man.
Budget lawns, I do too.
Man, I like his channel, man. He don't overcomplicate. No, I mean, him and Will have a similar approach. They spend as little as possible and get results.
But see what I will say is I understand one good thing about warm season. Feed it
and mow it.
Feed it and mow it. Like that's one of the things that it needs. Like feed it and mow it, and it will grow. Unless you got centipede, then you just mow it. you got centipede, and just mow it. It needs acidic soil, very little nutrients, and just cut the heck out of it, and it'll be all right.
Yeah. This was a good one, man. Dang, he was rocking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we planned to be on here for 3 hours, but
I can tell you it wasn't in my plan at all.
No. But I mean, the people was in here, the people was watching,
great
so they was interactive, and hey, get the people what they want.
All right, great questions, y'all. Hand clap, applause for the audience. Y'all did great.
Yes,
y'all did great tonight. Y'all came
I appreciate everybody for joining. Thank y'all for stopping through the channel. I know it's been a while since I've hosted a live. We're gonna be making some more rounds, especially during the off season. We working team together. We'll definitely be putting together more lives as we come into the fall. I hope y'all are getting some value from the lives that we're doing. Right now, we're all a little busy, so we're on that monthly cadence, but we do already have something lined up for y'all coming next month. So that's gonna be one that y'all don't want to miss. We ain't gonna let none of it out of the bag just yet, but
we can say if you're doing a renovation or overseeding, make sure you take before and after pictures.
Or just any pictures during your renovation.
Or any pictures, any pictures you want to share. That's right, PJ. Open it up to everyone.
Yep.
She makes sure always all inclusive. That's what I'm talking about.
Yep. So make sure y'all are getting those pictures. We will have we working another live that will be coming in October. So don't forget the 2 discount codes that we do have for y'all. Make sure you got an hour and 10 minutes left to go on the We Working Simple Lawn Solutions discount code. So that one is there. And we also have the discount code for the girls' lawn is the discount code, but the We Working team together has brought you this Higher Bricks granular fertilizer discount. So those are there. We brought those to you. 30% off on the Simple Lawn Solutions and 10% off right there on that Higher Bricks.
Will, you're gonna come on the stage. You're gonna come on the stage during this off season. You need to school us on some warm season stuff, man.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
I want to learn that stuff.
Right. Yeah, we need some of that warm season knowledge.
Y'all not gonna want to miss this next episode though. Go ahead. If you're not subscribed to Polo Fields Lawn Service, that's where the next one's gonna be. We like to pop up. What's that magician show where they used to just pop up everywhere? What's the name of that show? Dang, they was doing the magic, man. Come on, help me out.
All I know is the
I mean-
magician David Copperfield. That's the only magician I
Nah,
know.
there was a crew, and they was like taking the money from the rich and giving it back to the poor. What's the name of that movie? It
The
was a
one on Netflix?
Oh, the movie.
Yeah, it was a movie. It's a couple of them, and they was doing pop-up magic shows. The point is, we doing pop-up. We working live casts. It's not at the same location every time, but you got to make sure that you're following along because, you know, we're going to bring you another first. Just put it that way. That was the first time you ever saw Brittany on the live cast. It's the first time you ever seen this company on the live cast too. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
Now You See Me. Is it Now You See Me?
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think it's Now You See Me. And then I don't know what the other 2 or 3 are called, but they're dope. Either way, they're dope. We're dope. It's gonna be a good time.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. I'm really looking forward to
this next one.
I'm looking forward to October. I'm looking forward to
learn
October.
some stuff, but we really just gonna have a good time. Yeah. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah. All right, y'all. All right, Turf. All right, PJ.
Good night.
I appreciate y'all for joining me. And this has been amazing. This has been amazing. We're gonna do some more. I think this little series is definitely gonna be called the Kickback. We're gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
The name may change of what the general topic is.
Yeah.
So today we just gave y'all a little update of where we was at in the lawns, but the series is definitely probably gonna stay the Kickback.
Yeah. And the Kickback can be on any channel as well. You know, hey, stay tuned in. We might kick back at PJ channel next, take over her house. Who knows?
Yeah.
Come jump on her couch with the Kickback.
All right, y'all. I appreciate it. Everybody have a good night. We out of here.